Super tournament, Altibox Norway Chess, about to begin with the Blitz tournament. We are delighted here in Chess24 land that Peter Svidler is back, the 8-time Russian champion, World Cup winner, professional beard wearer, to guide us through all the action. Peter, what can we expect from today?
Well, today is, somewhat surprisingly maybe to some people, is the only thing that is very traditional of this year's in this year's edition of Altibox Norway Chess, because the Blitz tournaments to determine the pairings, I think, have been in place maybe from the very first edition, definitely from the second one, but everything else about the tournament is very fresh and very new this year. So the real sort of new developments will start from tomorrow. But today we'll just have 9 rounds of extremely strong Blitz, which is always something to look forward to.
Yeah, I suggest we stick to our usual Blitz routine of choosing one game per round and covering that. It's 3 minutes plus 2 seconds, so it will be fast-paced action. It will be hard to follow more than one game. If there is some time in between, we'll of course catch up with the other games. First round, I'd suggest Aronian versus Carlsen.
No, I think starting with the Magnus game is always a sensible choice, and Magnus against Lev is a very, very tasty thing to begin with. Lev has had a bit of a, I mean, there are some bright spots, but Lev post, I don't know which one even to choose. Yeah, we all expected Lev to. I don't know how to even finish that sentence. We've been through this discussion. I mean, people who have watched our shows sort of probably know where I'm going with this. Lev has been an absolute monster, and a permanent feature in the top 10, top 5, top 3 chess for the past, I don't know how many years, 20 years it feels like. And at some point was, I think seen as an absolute contender for the crown, and hasn't actually played a world championship match so far, and his last appearance in the candidates was not a happy one.
Yeah, that's sadly the story of his chess career, that at the candidate stage he's normally not been able to do it with more or less disappointing outings for his standards, but it's gotten more disappointing over the years, and I was one of those that even picked him as the favorite in the last one. So yeah, things haven't been going for him well in the World Championship cycle. But
I think in general there are some signs of him coming back to the enjoyment of the game, and when he likes what he's doing, I think we all know how crushingly strong he can be, and also how imaginative of a player he is. And there you see him in his trademark.
I'm not sure if we like the shirt he's wearing.
I don't mind it.
For his standards, yeah. It's
actually quite subdued by his standards.
Exactly. It's not that flashy. And there we see the world champion, Magnus Carlsen. He's back with a beard. And wow, is that a Chess24 logo on the jacket? Did we finally get a logo on there?
Is it?
I don't know. It looks like a Chess24 logo.
That would be a very, very welcome development, obviously, for...
Boom, handshake. Let's get this party started. D4. And G6.
Yeah,
Magnus is saying, no theory for you, sir. Although it has to be said that in Blitz and Rapid, he's played quite a few of these Pierces. One of his trademark things being an early knight to C6 in many a line.
Yeah, but Lev kind of thwarts him here by not playing the mainline purses, but just going for this bishop d3, c3 setup, which is supposedly very quiet and non-threatening, but can lead to complicated strategic battles, and in many cases transposes to a structure which both of them are very familiar with. They get it from a number of openings, like e5 d is a structure I'm referring to, which could very easily.
The interesting thing is that against this bishop d3, c3, knight c6 is actually the main move, and Magnus likes to play that in all the lines. So it suits his general approach. Levon decides not to release the central tension anytime soon and plays c3, e5, h3. I think a5 is a move here, rook to e8. We'll see what Magnus comes
Yeah,
up with.
most sensible legal moves in this position have all obviously been tried, and yeah, at some point I think knight a3 c2 became very popular in the structure. I don't know if that's what Lev is intending. Knight bg2 is not a mistake. d4 d5. It's interesting, and it's also something they do in the King's Indian. If they want to play d5, they at least wait for rook e8. Because the typical counterplay will be in f7, f5, and in that respect, the rook is quite misplaced on e8. But this is a decent King's Indian, I suspect, because white played c3 and then c4, wasting a tempo on that.
Yeah, now that f5 is not off the table, but less than ideal with the rook on e8, Magnus focuses on at least getting some control of the queenside first. Goes a5, knight a6. Bishop d7. I've seen him play c6 even in some positions like that. It's very double-edged because, of course, generally you don't want to open the side where your opponent is stronger. But here it can make some sense.
Yeah, they do occasionally play either c6 or maybe even c5 in positions like this. It looks a bit passive, but if you ignore it, it's very difficult to get much of anywhere on the queen side. And if you take on c6, it opens up some counterplay for black.
c5 I'm not sure I like with weakening all these squares. We'll see what he does, but he went knight c5. His point will be that if the bishop goes here, he can fix these things with a4 if I count correctly.
Bishop e3 is it's a pawn sacrifice, isn't it?
That is true. Sometimes they do that, but yeah, it's not exactly Magnus's style.
Yeah.
And might also not be good.
And people are asking if we can see the comments. We can see the comments. We will not be paying too much attention to them during the Blitz, though, because it's fast-paced enough without us trying to address questions in chat. But we do have the chat open.
For sure. Nikhil Dixit.
Yeah, worry not.
Yeah, bishop c2 is on board and Magnus pauses. It feels a bit like he was intending to play a4 and then realized that bishop e3, things aren't so simple and he has to decide if he wants to give that pawn here. I don't actually see how b6 takes and bishop a4. The problem is the bishops also disappear. Knight b3, white takes and remains with the good bishop. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe he blitzed out knight c5 a bit too quickly and is now having second thoughts / cursing himself.
Yeah, I think that's not at all impossible.
Yeah, he's played a4, which is the logical follow-up.
And knight b3, so he decided to at least get rid of the light squared bishop there. Actually, knight takes a4 is a move. No, then the e4 pawn will fall. So you actually, if you want to win the pawn immediately, you probably take on b3 twice here. But it is a healthy extra pawn. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all.
No, and the dark square bishop remaining should be a good thing for white, actually. In general, it's more active than the light square bishop. If the black counterplay ever gets rolling, you might miss the light square bishop, but that's very far down the stretch. For now, yeah, I think Magnus had a bit of a, brain slip, is that a word? By blitzing out knight c5 and then realizing a4 wasn't as great as he thought.
I think that's fair, yeah. In other news, Grishuk and Anand already drew their game, somewhat surprisingly considering the format. And Lev decides not even to take on b3 immediately and to start with c5, which makes perfect sense as well, because the pawn on b3 is not really going anywhere, and opening up the queen side first feels very logical.
Yes, point must have been that if he starts by taking, then there is b6, and it will be harder to open things up.
Yeah, and this way he gets the best of both worlds. The center is now open. The queen on b3 is very strong. He is still a healthy pawn up. I don't think it will be too much of a stretch to say that he has a large / winning advantage.
Close to winning, no?
If this were a classical game, I would say this is close to winning. Yeah, this is a Blitz game, so there's we can expect, I guess, some potential turnarounds. But yeah, Magnus's position is quite bad here.
Magnus has talked about this, that he is sometimes a bit of a slow starter, particularly in Blitz or rapid events. We've seen it, for example, on the first day of the World Rapid Championship in 2018.
Yeah, that was a bit of a disaster.
And sometimes it takes him a while to get going. Let's see if this is one of these games. The stakes aren't super high. The worst thing that could happen to him is that he gets 5 black games in the classical tournament. But stakes are enough that guys will be motivated, because it does make a difference to have 5 whites.
Sure, but he actually got somewhere here, because the way Lev reacted to all this, now the knight will come to e5 next move, or c5 in case of knight d4, and land on d3. And d3 is a fantastic square for that piece. So
This
maybe
could look like his game against Kayakin all over again.
well, I mean, white probably should be in a lot better shape here to control this. After knight d2, actually, I don't think you can play knight e5.
You go knight d4, no? I thought you want to take this.
Well, the queen is hanging, so.
Fair enough.
And then after knight d3, once again, you'll have to spend a tempo on something. White probably is still better, but I'm curious why knight d2 wasn't good. But I guess Lev just feels that I don't know, queen b5.
Can I give the exchange even? Like here, I take here. GF, rook d3.
Yeah, you can, but I'm not sure you're winning there. You're fine, but I'm not sure you're winning. He went queen c2, knight d3, and rook f1. I don't really like any of this. I think there's legitimate reasons to think black has decent play for the exchange now.
It's also not an exchange down.
Oh, sorry.
For the pawn, you mean, sorry.
For the pawn, yeah, I misspoke. No, this is now in a blitz game. This is absolutely anybody's game now. f3 might be quite decent, yeah, unless this just works for white, and then once again, white will be significantly better. But
we'll be doing more analyzing and moving pieces around once the time control slows down here. But here, once we start jumping too much, I feel it will just be too hard to follow the action. So for now, what do you see as the position on the board?
Yeah, Magnus feels obliged to vacate the d3 square, and I thought fe4 instead of knight takes e5 was very strong. I'm surprised Lev didn't just play fe4 there, but he is still significantly better. Maybe winning now because black cannot recapture because of queen f7.
Knight b2, Magnus fishing, but his king is so weak that it's
Yeah.
a bit hard to believe this could be enough. Can we take on b7 even?
Yeah, queen b7 is strong. Back to
Queen
f2
f2,
is also quite promising. Queen f5 probably gives mate here, I have a feeling.
Rook takes e3, queen f7, queen h5. Yeah, this should just be winning.
Yeah, king. Yeah, well, you can win the rook. Oh, no, you can't win the rook. Hang on a second. How do you win this position?
Like this. Rook f5, rook h5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. In the meantime, Shah seemingly won a game against Fabi with black, where he was a full piece down at one point. So lots of blood spilled already in the first round, and yeah, Magnus probably just resigned.
Yeah, Magnus resigned after rook f5, so bad start for the world champion, as we've seen before. And we will switch to... which game would you like? Chinese battle?
The Chinese battle is being convincingly won by Yu Yangyi, seemingly. This should be a reasonably easily winning rook endgame. The king is just way too active. Just king, yeah, rook h2, rook b2, you should just resign here. Unless black has 1 second, you just resign here.
It's the first time, maybe ever, that we have the two Chinese top players in a super tournament, no? Both Yu Yangyi and Ding Liren. Ding Liren, of course, more established, the world number 3. Yu Yangyi had a bad event recently in Shenzhen, where they both played, which... I was wondering, if I call it a non-super tournament, I am offending Anish Giri, so I'm not going to say that, but so I should clarify. The first super tournament on non-Chinese ground, because they've played in a few of those, in the Danzus and Shenzhen.
For sure.
But other than that, yeah. Yu Yangyi getting the ticket here for the first time, and off to a good start, beating Ding Liren with black. All the games are over.
Yeah, all the games are over. MVL won against Wesley. Fabi, as I mentioned, lost to Shah, a game where I feel he must have been completely winning it, at least at one point. But then something has gone badly wrong. And as mentioned, Grishuk Anand was a reasonably quiet affair where... Vishy did something funny there. I guess Sasha maybe mixed up the move order a little bit, because you're supposed to start with h4 and then play knight f3. And he did it the other way around, and Vishy played knight h5. And then, yeah, this is just, by Caracan standards, this is just incredibly empty. And it's not a surprise they decided not to push pieces around here. It's just very, very equal. So yeah, 4 decisive games, and this game where Grishuk either decided not to show anything against the Caracan, or actually just kind of mouse slipped slightly and started with knight f3 instead of h4.
Let's have a look at the results of round number 1. Carlsen losing, Caruana losing, well number 2, 1, 2 and 3 all going down. Ding Liren losing, MVL, the world number 2 in Blitz, defeats Wesley, so Grishuk Anand draw. In the standings, obviously the guys that won have a point, and the guys that lost do not have one. So, briefly, maybe we can bring up the schedule. I think it's simple enough. Games start every 20 minutes. So, the first one started at 18:30. That means in 9 minutes, 18:50, we'll have the next game, 19:10.
Interestingly, they seem to be giving 25 minutes between rounds 5 and 6 as a kind of a nod that it's midway through and let's give players a breather. But it's not really a breather. It's the additional 5 minutes. So
maybe it's so they can watch the news. 8 p.m. is normally news time. No, I don't even want to finish those. All
very
right.
possibly.
Then let's have a look at what we've got in round number 2.
Yeah, and there's also this sub-story which people are referring to in our chat that with that victory and Magnus losing, MVL is now back to number 1 in the world as in the Blitz list. But this, we suspect, unless MVL just crushes and Magnus has a nightmare, this might be revolving every round because there's so many points at stake. I think what's the K factor in Blitz? It's definitely not 10.
I don't know. It's 20 or something.
Probably,
or 25.
probably 20,
it
yeah.
jumps around a lot.
Yeah. Surprising entrance in that list. Yeah, I was not aware of that, to be honest.
Bring it up here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. MVL now, world number 1, Carlsen 2, and our boy Mickey Adams, very surprisingly, is only 1 spot behind Peter Svidler in the Blitz rankings. Guessing that's what you referred to. So let's have a look at round number 2. You choose a game, sir.
Okay, let's have a look at the pairing. So Magnus is white against Ding, Vishy plays Yu Yangi, So Aranyan, Grishuk, Caruana, and Amijarov MVL. Let's stick with MVL for a round. MVL is now, he leads the tournament, although many people are currently leading the tournament, but he is also our undisputed world number 1 in Blitz. So let's do that for a round.
Monsieur Maxime with black against Schach. Oh, sorry. Schach has also been hitting a bit of a slump recently, right? At least his rating in classical went all the way down from wherever it was, 2830 territory to, where is he now, 2774. Still pretty good, still in the top 10, but still 50-point downswing there.
Yeah, for sure. It's not obvious exactly what happened there because he was in 2018. It seemed like the purple patch was, he hit an extremely rich vein of form and threatened in the candidates and just looked like he kind of became a much more rounded and just objectively a stronger player than he used to. He always was a very strong player, but it seemed like he got to a whole new level, and then it kind of tailed off. Difficult to say why. Maybe scheduling, maybe personal life interfering.
There's some rumors that he stopped drinking.
Well, he was attributing his successes to stopping drinking.
It was that way around. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but I think he has a new child, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not very good on personal lives of my.
He does have a son. It must be, I don't know, around a year now, maybe.
I'm always very worried I will get these things wrong. But I think he has a new child, and that obviously tends to draw your focus away slightly from the all-important business of playing chess. But still an incredibly strong player, and generally I tend to think he is very, very good at all kinds of short time controls, even though he currently, the rapid and blitz ratings are extremely swingy, so not too much should be read into it, I guess, but he is sort of middle of the pack currently. I think like number 17 in blitz, 15, yeah, I meant no disrespect. Yeah,
up and down very quickly. He can of course play with the best of them. Though I have to say, this might be just my lack of understanding his style, that I found it hard to get used to him as world number 2/3 somewhere there. I always thought that guys like Caruana were still a tier above that, and I don't mean that because of the rating loss now, but yeah, results don't really lie, so it was very hard to argue with that. And then the candidates, he was there till the very end.
Exactly, and I think that's also the discussion we kept on returning to during the candidates, because I think that was what many people felt for a number of years. And then somewhere around 2017, 2018, you could either continue with this delusion, or you could just face up to the facts and say, yes, this is clearly a top 3 player in the world on current form. And whatever stylistic, nitpicking you can go to say it's not true, the results just are there. But yeah, there's been a slump since.
Speaking of there, who is sitting at the boards and who's not? Yu Yang Yi.
Yeah, he is a very, very studious and serious young man, and I'm not surprised he's first at the board.
Ding also. Chinese guys. I don't think that's a language barrier situation. They just want to be left in peace and concentrate on the next game.
Yeah, I think.
Well, probably live on somewhere in the back telling bad jokes to MVL.
Yeah, that sounds fair. Is that Leonard taking pictures?
Yes.
That's a very, very milk-tossed choice of hair color for Leonard.
Right.
That's just kind of platinum blonde or something, yeah?
I would guess so. It's dark over there. Who photographs the photographer? That's Fabi, all dressed up for the Blitz. How many stripes are those? 5 stripes? You probably did the math that 5 out of 9 will be enough for 5 white games. So he put 5 stripes on his sweater.
So I think it's a form of self-motivation.
For sure. But he lost the first one, so now it's 5 out of 8.
Still doable. And will continue being doable until there are fewer games than 5 left and he still hasn't gotten any points.
Wow. There's that classical math education shining through again.
Exactly.
Shall we give the chat a vote for what game to pick next? The second one was Svidler's choice. But for round number 3, it's you guys.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Victopos is saying, hi, new member. Welcome, Victopos. And sorry for the bitter disappointment of us talking all this nonsense in advance. Perpetual Stalemate is saying 5 white stripes on the American flag too. Who knew?
And Suats is saying, where is Asmai with the dress code?
It's not an ECU event. I'm not sure Asmai has any jurisdiction in Norway. And the chat is saying, next round depends on how this round goes. So don't push us making a premature choice when we don't know the scores yet. Fair enough.
And seems like people have misinterpreted what you said as the vote already being open for this round. For this round we've chosen the MVL game. We're not switching to anything, but from round 3 we will possibly listen to the people's vote.
Do you think that Ahmed Yarov looks a bit like Dex the Destroyer from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
There is some similarity, but...
Who's the actor playing him? It's his wrestler, no? Baptista?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on the name, but I'm sure you're right, yeah.
And we have liftoff, MVL. He's your brother in arms when it comes to the Grunfeld.
Yeah.
And
as is Schach, if we're honest. But yeah, C3 is the Kramning baby.
yeah, Schach is a many-trick pony, but MVL sticks to it. And with white Schach, yeah, he likes these G3 setups. The C3, it's a bit Kramnicky to play every legal move in this position and see if something sticks.
Yeah, pretty much. Although he was sort of more committed to this than most of the other stuff. Yeah, and MVL is showing us something that... I mean, C3 by this point has become enough of a serious topic that I'm sure MVL actually has done some work on it.
I don't know, he's been busy. Champions League, NBA Finals. Like, do you really look at C3?
Well, not during this tournament, but in general, I'm pretty sure he has looked at it at some point.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
and NBA Finals is another topic that we will have to half seriously discuss during this tournament, because there's a number of very serious NBA fans in the lineup, and their sleep schedules could very significantly be affected by that.
good. The
series.
game started at 5 p.m. The tournament games, I mean. So I don't know if all of this is still theory. It looks like sensible moves. C4 takes knight c3, c5. White doesn't go d5, he has nothing. So he does go d5, and now MVL has to do something before he gets pushed back.
I'm somewhat curious, but I guess I thought knight b6 was just winning a pawn, but you just play queen h4 or somewhere, yeah, and you cannot take twice because e4 will win a piece. Yeah.
Oops.
Not to belabor the point, but yeah, this doesn't work. So yeah, MVL goes bishop g4, and
Schach is thinking. Would you consider h3, bishop f3, ef?
I would prefer not to. He just goes e4, just ignores the fact that black can go bishop f3, knight e5, which MVL probably has to, although you could maybe make an argument for starting with e6 first.
So move like knight e8, you're not a fan.
Did not really consider it, but yeah, a sensible move. But MVL does play e6. It's more concrete. Kind of fits in with the style in general.
e5 sometimes wins a piece here. I guess this is not one of those cases because bishop f3, ef. There's bishop d5, for example.
Probably, yeah. It's a bit scary, but once again, the speed of play would suggest that maybe MVL just knows it doesn't lose a piece.
I don't think so. He's a big bluffer. He's confident. World #1 in Blitz. And e5 played.
e5 played, and is there
Sort of a common trick in these queen b3 Grunfelds. So I'm sure MVL has seen this before.
Yeah, it's not a new theme. But why isn't what you were saying? I guess Schach just says I will take on b7 at the end of that, and I'll be fine. Yeah. EF bishop d5, just knight d5, a5, queen d5, and
This hasn't happened, so I'll put it on the board briefly.
yeah, the queen on c4 is not protected, so you cannot play fg7, gf8. You end up down some material. So I think you have to go. I think also bishop d5 might be a move here. Bishop d5.
None of this happened. He played e5, e takes d5. And now after queen f4, I thought there was some piece problems. So I'm not quite getting it. Bishop f3, ef6, bishop g2, fg7.
Yeah, maybe it's just a miscalculation.
Maxi boy, what have you been doing?
Oh, miscalculating. But yeah, it feels
He typically doesn't miscalculate such things.
not a lot. Yeah, this is somewhat surprising. It's not a very normal thing for him to make these types of mistakes. I have a feeling he just missed bishop takes d5 in the previous line. I don't think this was ever the intention. Because even knight d5, queen g4 was quite unpleasant, to be honest. Didn't like that at all either.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just looks like black could be close to lost here. Bishop f3 played, f6, bishop. I don't even know what he wants here. He's just down a full piece. Yeah.
Looks like resigns, frankly.
Yeah, he will go rook e8, queen c6, and d4, and pretend that there is some play, or starts with d4. But yeah.
But is there really? Knight d5,
Knight f5, queen
f3.
c6. And yeah, that's one option. Knight e4 and f3 is also, I think, a reasonably sensible option to go to. I think he probably found the best way to create at least some mayhem, but no, it's not very mayhemy. Schach should be able to control this.
Yeah, very out of character for MVL, the Blitz #1 in the world. Yeah, he went for this knight d5, queen f3 business. The point is knight e5, there's knight f6 check.
Yeah.
We take the rook with check. So there's not all that much that black can do.
Yeah, you can go rook e5, but these endgames you just lose kind of slowly but surely. You can try to prepare it. I don't know, rook a g8 but I guess white just goes knight f4 against most things. Yeah, it seems like a bit of an opening disaster here by MVL from reasonably humble beginnings, if we're honest.
Yeah, in this position I'm so surprised because there's e6, e5, or in general this e5 with queen on c4 and bishop on g4 is such a common theme in the
Yeah.
Gutfeld that he must have seen
But
it
once
in the
again, I'm
games.
pretty sure I know what he missed. I think he wanted to go bishop f3, bishop d5, but bishop takes d5 probably scared him quite significantly there.
So yeah, he keeps fighting, of course, probably for a lost cause, but it's Blitz.
Yeah, no, the game still very much continues, but you don't really expect to save very many of these against a player of Schach's caliber. He wants to go c4 knight b4, just queen somewhere, and then start jumping. White still needs to be somewhat careful for the next couple of moves, but yeah, eventually you have to assume white stabilizes. Starting with b3 actually makes a ton of sense. Because if
There he goes.
because after b5, for instance, I can now have rook e1. The queen on c6 will be hanging in all these lines. Yeah, or that. Yeah. And yeah, Schach generally is a very clean, very fast calculator, so you don't generally give him positions where you're pissed down and expect to survive. Rook e1 now looks quite, I guess, a 5, and yeah. Well, Maxime has made some progress. There's now this pawn pair on d4 and c3, but
Yeah, the problem is they aren't really going anywhere. There's knight on d3, controls them both comfortably, so you need to add more pieces to the equation. And yeah, Maxime just keeps playing on as if nothing bad has happened.
yeah. Lev has beaten Wesley with black in the meantime.
Lev off to a good start, 2 out of 2.
Yeah, Lev off to a flyer, and actually this game, you know, it feels like we could have some surprises here. Because it's not that easy for white to move. And I mean, the time situation obviously is very, very critical now.
You can also tell by the moves. He's moving back and forth while Maxime is taking pawns. Yeah, this is no longer clear at all.
I think this is
5 is hanging a rook. He just hung a rook, no?
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of wrote this game off, and Maxime will end up winning it seemingly. So
Yeah.
looks like we were complete, and this is just
Checkmate.
Yeah. Okay.
Bit of a comeback.
Also, the first in obviously a very, very long series of these types of events during this coverage, where we will say something and the players will prove us completely wrong. Magnus is in trouble. He will probably draw this, but
Where yet?
up top. Grishuk is completely winning against Caruana, but yeah, Magnus is the kind of recent trend, if we can call it that, somewhat continues here, because he came very, very close to losing against Ding in the whiskey tournament in Scotland, and that would actually cost him the tournament win. Eventually held, but came very, very close to.
This looks like a draw, no?
Yeah,
It's
that's
hard to
yeah.
mobilize the pawns, and if king g6, he just showed. There's always rook e7.
Yeah,
Can't play against
I
these.
guess not much danger now with the pawn on h7, so should be a draw. Well, I'm now less sure this is a draw. Although,
Five,
yeah,
king comes. Should be.
probably still a draw, yeah. Maybe even a 5 draws, to be honest, we are close enough.
A rook e5, no? The king can look
Yeah.
after the b pawn, and then you exchange these guys. Like, doesn't look like there's much to play for.
Yeah, just go with 5 here, yeah. Yeah, and they have shaken hands. And Vishy lost a perfectly normal looking position to Yu Yang Yi with white as well, so once again we have 1 draw and 4 decisive results.
Yu Yang Yi, 2 out of 2.
Yep.
His queen is d pawn.
Yeah, Vishy apparently just blundered the b pawn in a position where it wasn't really like white at some point had more pawns on the board and then just gave one of them away for no reason. These things do happen in Blitz tournaments.
Should also point out this final position
Yeah.
in the game. Grishuk versus Caruana, where the last move was a bit of a dagger. Queen a2 checkmate.
Not that most other moves aren't winning, but yeah, giving mate in 1 is
I guess this position
sensible
was
idea,
bad,
yeah.
but... So, standings-wise, that leads us to...
Yeah, MVL on 2 out of 2, Yu Yang Yi on 2 out of 2, and Lev on 2 out of 2. And only one other player in plus, and that is Grishuk, who beat Caruana. And Caruana is on... I was very much tongue-in-cheek about still being doable, but he is on 0 out of 2 there. Both Americans on 0 out of 2.
So together, the Americans on 0 out of 4. Wesley So, we'll talk about it a lot more during the classical portion. Also a guy that had a similar drop to Mamedyarov and Aronian that we talked about. Used to be number 2 in the world in 2016, early 2017. We were talking about, is he going to overtake Magnus anytime soon? And now in classical he's down to, I don't know, number 15 in the world or something, down to number 4 in the US. So yeah, some comeback kits or potential comeback kits in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very strong field, but it's a field full of well-established names, not all of whom have been doing well recently. So yeah.
Let's open the voting. These are the games for the next round. First of all, let's do predictions, and then we'll keep an eye on the chat. Who wants to see what? There's 2 votes for MVL against Grishuk already.
There was a number of votes for the game of Carlsen versus Yuan Gi, which is also very sensible, obviously, the world champion playing against one of the leaders. But I think MVL against Grishuk is maybe the more obvious one. But we'll continue keeping an eye on the votes coming in.
Who's keeping score?
I think MVL is winning.
MVL is crushing it, but it's also because it's fun to type MVL.
It is true, yeah.
Then again, you could just type U. It's also fun.
Yeah, typing is a good, wholesome fun for the whole family in general.
Let's do predictions. Yu Yang versus Carlsen, I predict 0-1.
Yeah, I'm not against that.
MVL versus Grishuk, I predict 1-0.
No, I will take black in this game.
Okay. Caruana Anand, I predict a draw.
I'll take Fabi.
Aronia Mamedyarov, I predict 1-0.
Okay.
Ding versus So, I predict 1-0.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well. And Blackmar is trying to rig the voting by spamming the vote for his favorite game, but I think MVL versus Grishuk is still winning by a landslide.
Let me try to find their camera, because we have cameras on every board, but I don't have them named here. Therefore, apologies that there might be a bit of clicking trying to track down those boards. And there it is, Cam 4. Yep. Rikala, who's a mathematician by trade and a Mora Gambit player after hours, is saying, I'll do vote counting. I trust Rikala to handle this task responsibly. He's saying that's 50 for MVL, 0 for everyone else. Alright, that concludes it. MVL Grishuk it is. Sword Atalek is bringing up the big question. Giri is not here, and why?
Yeah, that is a pressing question. It's unclear.
Isa Vulpes is asking, why does Jan sound like he's speaking into his cup? I have no idea. That's weird. We'll try to fix it.
Has to be fixed, yeah. And also, I could no longer contain my withdrawal symptoms and had to check the cricket score.
Yeah, no, your professionalism is appreciated around here. Alright, MVL. Mind showing up?
Yeah, and now that I have checked it, I probably will stop checking it for a while.
So let's talk about the upcoming game. Grishuk with the black pieces against the most likely move 1 e4. Will he play the Berlin? Will he play the Knight?
I think in Blitz in particular there is almost no probability. I mean, I would assign very, very low probabilities to Berlin. I think Sasha will play something lively. He plays the Knight off against MVL is maybe not the most obvious choice, but
MVL is one of these guys who goes for main lines in the ending in the Berlin, so probably without preparation you don't feel like pushing in there. Maybe some offbeat Spanish, some 3g6, 4g6, some stuff like that I could pick.
Yeah, there was a lot of that actually in the women's candidates, which surprised me a little bit, because the line has been semi-popular for a while, and I thought it actually became sort of less playable as more people investigated, and then suddenly there was this surge of popularity.
How do these things work in Russia? Do they have a training camp altogether? And
No, I
then
don't
there
think.
comes the G6 expert and says, here is this move that you should all use in the candidates.
It has actually been suggested that maybe they work together for that tournament, but I think it's kind of unlikely because there's only one spot, and I think it creates more issues than it solves. Doing a lot of close work together before playing in a tournament like that.
Fair enough. Don't want any Curacao situations. Was it Curacao? The one where Fischer complained? I'm bad at chess history.
Yeah, that's the one.
There's Vishy. Do you call him Vishy?
No, I don't call him Grisha. I call him Sasha or Sanya.
Sanya.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Are you pro new short hair?
Yeah,
Or
but
do
I
you like
but
to see
I
more rugged?
no, I like very much the short haircut, but I kind of disagree with him shaving the beard off. I think
Right.
the bearded look I think befits him quite well.
So, no hair is fine, but more beard. That's your feedback.
Yep.
For MVL, I also think the more bearded, the better. Waiting for Maxime.
Yeah, people, I couldn't really understand what people were talking about, and then I looked closer. That the difference in chair sizes is quite striking. Like, Sasha is like at the kids' table, and
Did he choose it, you think? Are they playing at the same board every round? No, that can't be. Probably only Magnus because he has his fixed camera or whatever.
It's a bit bizarre. Yeah, I don't. It looks like somebody kind of requested not to have the good chair, because I can't imagine the Altibox organizers not providing the 10 absolutely identical chairs for the players. So somebody must have said, I don't want the good chair, I want to sit in a small uncomfortable chair. And Sasha is tall. I really don't see how that could be him, but maybe I'll ask later today.
But the taller you are, the smaller your chair should be, no? So you see the board at the right angle.
Yeah, but they are normally adjustable, no? I think that is kind of solved by pressing some levers.
Wow. I don't know, I'm not up to date on chair technology. And King Billy 2015 is saying Grishuk looks exactly like House MD.
You see? Just push a button. Dodgy says, Ding fell off the 10th chair and broke it. I have a feeling this is fake news, but...
Were you there? No, you weren't there, right? When Ding broke his hip? I heard some account of that story. I can't remember who told me, but one of the participants, that he did drive with very high speed down a mountain and drove into a wall or something.
into something, yeah. And people were saying that they were very surprised by the entire thing, because it didn't seem like he kind of knew what he was doing at any point. And if you're not a very comfortable bike rider, why would you choose to go, you know, why would you choose a steep decline as your preferred road is unclear.
No, I think you could argue it's less effort than going uphill.
Well, yes, but then you break stuff, and you have to be on crutches for half a year, and I don't know.
I don't think that was part of the plan. Let's see what Maxime's plan is.
1e4, and yeah, no Berlin for us. But yeah, Sasha has been playing a lot of Sveshnikov these days, and MVL does not allow any of that.
MVL played this against Keimer and Baden-Baden, this Alapin, but didn't really seem very booked up. He admitted he was freestyling somewhere around move 9 in the main line. But Grishuk chooses a somewhat different line, this e6, which has been around forever.
Yeah, I think...
ED6 is not supposed to be the critical test.
Yeah, I think I've seen Sasha do this recently as well, and yeah, this is like, if this is somehow worse for black, you just can't play any isolated positions at all. So I expect it's completely fine.
A tactical point here is if white took twice on t5, you have either bishop h2 or bishop b4, might as well work. So you can't really take. Therefore, MVL keeps the tension, goes bishop b3. Ask Grishuk for a move. Knight c7 looks logical.
Yeah, knight c7.
Played h6.
Knight c7 is the most obvious move in the position, and also there are all the h6 stories that I immediately, I bear scars. I once, not one, like I lost a very bad game to Timur Rajabov in a Linares tournament in an Isolani structure, and then I played in a Turin Olympiad and I lost a very painful game to David Navarra, also playing h6 in the structure, and I was then mercilessly mocked for it by the entirety of the team for the remainder of the tournament, and the idea of playing h6...
Such bullies.
Yeah, the idea of playing h6 in Isolani structures it brings back very painful memories for me.
But now Grishuk is giving you some street cred back, because no one would question his chess culture, and he played h6. Knight f6, avoiding the pin. 95. Looks like white improved more than black over the last 3 moves somehow.
Yeah. And the point why h6 sometimes is a bad idea in these structures is that if white can somehow achieve the rook lift, if you imagine the rook kind of landing on g3 magically here, the black king side could become very, very, well, you could get mated quite fast is what I'm trying to say, but probably not in this position because the center is under significant pressure.
I like this move, bishop c7, keeping white busy. And knight takes c6 is possible, but probably not very much after bc. The structure somewhat changes. And it's not so simple to defend this d4 pawn. I was gonna say without giving up a pawn on e5, but that's exactly what he does, bishop e3.
Yeah, that's a curious choice. I mean, if it works tactically, you don't want to be taking on c6 too early. And I guess it does work tactically. If black takes twice, you have bishop c5, and that probably wins material. Actually, it doesn't win material. You can take on c3 in the end of that. So what's the plan if I just take on e5 twice here?
I don't know. Let's switch to analyzing for 1 second. Literally.
Ah, bishop f8. Hang on. The queen is hanging. Rook e d1, yeah, and we end up being in an exchange up after rook b1.
Even this is not the end of the world, I would say, but...
You probably don't want this with black. I mean, it's playable, but you don't want this.
Nope. On the clock, Grishuk is behind. Not sure if he's used to that scenario, but he is in this case. Bishop d7 played, doesn't want any part of that pawn, but he spent quite a bit.
Yeah, and he's also, I think, objectively worse after you take on d7 and go d5. Yeah, and MVL will not hesitate to just snap play this. Yeah, this is not...
Grishuk himself has won some model games with these 2 bishops from this very structure, no? So,
yeah. The most recent example he didn't win. He had this structure against Wesley So in the Moscow Grand Prix that just finished, but Wesley had much more active light pieces there. The bishop was on f6, which I think is quite relevant. Creating additional counterplay. Here I would probably try to keep the queens on the board. Something like queen h5 feels very attractive to me. And that's what MVL plays. For instance, I think...
bad.
Yeah, bishop takes h6 is an immediate threat already, probably, with kind of mate to follow. And then queen g6, queen takes h6, check, and then something. Now this is quite a stinky position for black, and stinky is a technical term.
I've never heard of stinky as a technical term. Rook e8 played. Maybe you can still take, no? And yeah, Maxime doesn't hesitate all that much.
Snap takes, and yeah, I wonder what kind of mate he has after g8, queen g6 check, and just king f8, king h8. And Sasha says, okay, show me.
Yeah, what else? Yeah, pawn down versus the bishops.
The point is there are some definite back rank issues, but maybe bishop c2 wins. Yeah, I guess that's the point. You just go bishop c2 in this position. Yeah, that's what he does.
Threatening bishop h7, followed by this typical pattern, or just queen h7, queen h8. So
yeah, it feels like game is just over.
If the f-pawn moves, then the bishop returns, finishing the game. Therefore, no defense, no?
Yeah.
Bishop e5, how do you checkmate? Bishop h7, bishop f5.
Yeah, you win the queen. Yeah, you don't give checkmate, but the queen is enough. I think people will get their wish because we will have watched this game, and we can now switch, I think, to the Carlsen game. because this is just over.
Yeah,
as far as I wasn't looking at the video. Yeah, and Magnus is significantly better out of some. It's actually the same line he played against Vincent in Bonn. Very, very similar.
Yeah, it's the same structure, but there he gave his bishop on c3. This time he kept it.
Yeah, and this is obviously a very, very comfortable position for black. White will have to work very hard too. Although, actually, Yuangi managed to restructure his pieces, and if black, it's interesting that Magnus is continuing to ignore the bishop on d4, trying to create threats on the king side so as not to take on c3, but he might be eventually obliged to offer this exchange or to take on c3 himself.
Not in the mood yet. There's queen f6.
How do you react to, let's say, queen d2?
I don't know. Rook b2.
Yeah, very possibly. I wouldn't rule that out at all. There's also some queen h4 stuff, but I mean queen e1. No, queen e1, can I?
At some point you take, no?
Yeah, this is what I was trying to calculate. What happens if you just take here and then start invading, but I'm not sure if it actually leads to anything good for black. So yeah, they've repeated a couple of times, and now Magnus just gave up this pawn. Yeah, queen d4, he'll play queen h4 back and say this is
There's no longer queen e1, so let me checkmate you, sir.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure what exactly is threatened, but he'll just go, he will take on f4 either immediately or here, I guess.
Still queen f2. Game is still very much ongoing. Knight h5 is a nice touch.
Yeah, it is a very nice move, yeah. Well, now he is back very much in control. Queen e5 is strong, queen g5 is strong. Even the immediate f4 is strong. Yeah, just f4, e3, this is now a steamroll.
I'm reading some complaints. I'm not sure about the format. People think this is the future of chess. Is this what we want? This part of the format really hasn't changed. This is just a Blitz tournament where they establish who gets more whites and more blacks. The experimentation starts tomorrow in the regular tournament.
Yeah.
So today, I think it's pretty much, nowadays almost standard to have a Blitz tournament before the proceedings to determine.
It's not even necessarily a Norway Chess invention. I think the first people who started doing this were the Tal Memorial organizers.
Now this game is over, rook h6 check. It will be kind of painful. And Yu Yangyi does resign. Do we still have any action? With Vishy.
Yeah, I think we both took white in this one, or you took a draw?
I took a draw, maybe? I can't remember.
Yeah, and possibly Vishy lost on time, or maybe not, I don't know. It's
the game is over, yeah?
Something weird is going on, but it seems like there's no moves coming in. And
find the camera, but yeah, no luck. So I guess the game is over. And yeah, Caruana won.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the position. Obviously, black is pushing, but I guess Vishy forgot about the clock, which is kind of painful when this happens. And there's still a game going on between Wesley with black against somebody we can't identify. Yeah, it's
Ding.
It's Ding. Yeah, this is probably a draw, I guess. Yeah, just knight c3 and then do the shuffle. Maybe not. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like king g5. I think it was a draw, but I don't know, knight a5 check is a... But are you in time?
I get to this guy.
Yeah, I thought it was a cleaner draw if you just kept sticking to the a pawn.
This looks lost. No, he's never in time.
Yeah, and also, yeah, he goes via d5 and then he gets knight d7 check and game finishes. Knight d4 check now wins. Wow. Which I'm sure Ding will spot, yeah.
The question is, will Wesley continue with just a horse against the queen?
Probably not. People saying Fabi is so unsporting. I don't really understand that comment.
Why? How? Because Vishy lost on time?
Yeah, I don't really understand how this is unsporting. Fabi was not resigning, he's not lost, and then his opponent lost on time in a blitz game. This happens. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
So let us look at the results of this third round.
So MVL continues to crush. Lev is on 2.5, and Yuan Yi lost, so he is now on +1. And then there's a number of people on 50%, including Magnus, who recovered from losing in round 1.
And we need someone to keep track of our predictions. Rikala. I forgot everything. We need some bookkeeping here. Let's have a look at round number 4. Which features Vishy Anand versus Magnus Carlsen, Alexander Grishuk against Levon Aronian, Wesley So versus Yu Yang-yi, Fabiano Caruana against maxime-Vachier-Lagrave, and Mamedyarov Ding. Which game, ladies and gentlemen? I think there's 2 obvious candidates. Maybe 3 actually. I don't know.
Well, the sole leader of the event is MVL, so we could continue watching him. There is one of the absolute El Clásicos in Anand Carlsen, and the third one, to my eyes, would be Grishuk Aronian, but...
Yeah, those were the 3 I was talking about as well. Although, yeah, it's hard to go wrong, since these are, 10 of the, I don't know the exact ratings, 10 of the best 15 players in the world, depending on where Yu Yang-yi and Wesley currently are on the rating list. Let me check. So yeah, hard to choose too badly. Oh no, Yu Yang-yi is down to 20. He had this bad tournament in Shenzhen. So he's only number 20 in the world, only in air quotes. While Wesley So is number 14. Other participants, we have Carlsen number 1, Caruana number 2, Dinglera number 3, MVL number 4, Grishuk number 6, Mamedyarov number 8, Anand number 9. So yeah, pretty stacked field.
Yeah, this is not a bad field at all, putting it mildly. Yeah, you can't really make a mistake choosing. Yeah, this chair is being taken away.
So maybe Grishuk wasn't a fan.
Oh, hang on a second.
Cute little chair.
It's being. No, it feels like it's.
Does it follow Grishuk around?
Yeah, we'll see in a second, because it looks like it's being moved. Yeah, I guess Sasha actually asked for a lower chair.
There you go.
That's very striking to me, because it doesn't really look comfortable. And yeah, I can sort of understand the height issues, but first of all, they're normally adjustable, and secondly, like, back hurty is, for me, it normally outweighs the slight discomfort when
Maybe it's his lucky chair. Maybe he took a lot of money from MVL in whatever game they were playing last night, sitting on that very chair, and he thought should stick to it.
Were they playing something?
I don't know, but it's normally a fair assumption.
Yeah, I don't know. I would, unless it was Avalon, I would not advise MVL to play very many games against Sasha.
Yeah, I think Sasha's aware of that, so...
No, for Sasha it's, I think, a very decent idea, but for MVL, I think sticking to games of where his con artist talents can be expressed at the fullest is probably the most EV.
Wow, not only did you call him a bad games player, but also a con artist. MVL, if you're watching, opinions expressed about French number ones by Peter Svidler do not reflect the opinions of Chess24 at all.
He is, well, a very interesting Avalon player, is what I'm trying to say.
Where are all these people? 5 minutes to go.
Lefos says, I know that chair. It sucks even if you adjust it. This must have something to do with Sasha's choice, obviously, yeah. But I mean, looking at it, it really doesn't look bad at all. So you have to have some experience sitting in it.
There we go. Jamsnacker says MVL plays shogi pretty well.
Okay. Wasn't it? Where's PH when we need him?
I don't know. That's probably the question Nigel is asking himself every day.
That is very true.
So, our voting has not yielded a lot of results, right? No one cares. Then we'll go with Vishy Carlsen.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's easier for me because the Carlsen camp is the only camp that has a name called Carlsen. I guess only one stays seated at one board in these things, so that's probably the world champion. Evans Gambit is asking, is it hard to play well Blitz and classical chess at the same time? I think it's a lot harder if you're not good at classical chess, but if you look at the world rankings, of course, things change a little bit, but the top 20 players in the world are pretty much, with some exceptions, the top 20 players in most formats.
Yeah, there's a tremendous overlap. There's very few names which feature on the Rapid and Blitz list, which don't feature at all in the classical. I think the highest sort of outlier there is, I think, Anton Korbov is very high now in either Blitz or Rapid, but once again, not a surprise. We kind of know he is a very good player, and he did extremely well in the Mind Games tournament in China in May, playing against, well, more or less first and second string players. So.
Yeah, but he's just good at chess, right? His classical rating might not have caught up to his chess goodness.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
So, in general, I'm not sure, since how much do you think people care about the world rankings in Blitz? Because in this event, once you have, 5 points, you're a big favorite to get your 5 whites in the classical. Do you think people shut it down, or they keep playing to improve their
I think very much depends on the person. I think Magnus will definitely play to score as many points as possible, even if he at some point feels that he can't really lose the 5 whites anymore. I think the same probably applies to MVL currently, because I think it's a huge boon for him to be above Magnus on that list. I don't think very many others care currently. It's a bit utilitarian. You do want the 5 whites in a classical. Although, hang on a second, there was actually a topic I wanted to talk to you about first for a bit. If the classical game is drawn, you get the reverse colors in the Armageddon, or you choose. I think it's the reverse colors, isn't it?
I think it's reverse colors, yeah.
Is there a feasible argument you can make then for having 5 blacks in a classical?
Ah, interesting. I would say no, because the main thing for these guys is still their classical result and their classical rating. At least I would assume so, and there having more whites is a small advantage, which I think overpowers even if your argument is, which I'm not sure about, that it's an advantage to have white in the Armageddon.
People are saying the same colors.
Ah, the same color. Ah, we were wrong. Sorry. Then, of
course,
there's not even a discussion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still a discussion, because there's a whole topic of the control for the time control for the Armageddon. I think we covered this briefly. Is 10 minutes for white versus 7 for black, with a 3-second increment starting from move 61. So essentially, a no increment game for most of it. And 10 against 7 is completely untested. Armageddons, as we know them, historically they started off as 6 against 5, which favors black greatly.
Didn't start 5 versus 4?
No, I think they started 6 against 5, and then they shifted to 5 against 4, which is a lot closer, because 5 against 4, the 1 minute difference is felt much more keenly, obviously. It's a 20% difference instead of whatever it is, 15. But 10 against 7, nobody has ever played this before, as far as I know. I'm sure they've done some testing, but I think the numbers were basically plucked out of thin air, just to make it... like, it's a much more serious game, obviously, than 5 against 4, but it's... So we don't actually know what you're supposed to take in 10 against 7.
Yeah, I have no clue. My feeling would be that, especially since... Correct me if I'm wrong on this again, but I think they get increments starting from move 61 or something.
Yeah, that's
so
what
you
I
can't
said,
really get flagged. Magnus, by the way, is playing this troll opening.
Whoa!
G6, knight f6.
Yeah. And knight c3, d5. This is kind of going full troll. And... I actually did this, maybe not against d4, g4 though. I have done this against knight f3, g6, e4, knight f6. It's slightly more sane there.
Vishy seems to be prepared for this. Otherwise you don't blitz out knight c2, no?
Yeah,
No,
but
the knight is stuck, so it has to be saved by going to g5.
it doesn't. Yeah, I guess it takes
I guess
an
you take
h4.
an h4,
Yeah,
f4 as the point, yeah?
yeah, that feels like the way to try and refute it immediately. h4, gh, or
You can attack it first, yeah. So
Yeah.
it does queen d2.
yeah, this looks quite. Why are we forcing black to play e6?
Locking up the bishop,
Not
then maybe
not
some
for.
f4.
Yeah, forcing is a strong word. Magnus obviously does not play e6 and goes for something much more dynamic.
Vishy knows his stuff. You can't surprise him with knight f6 or move 2, apparently.
Well, occasionally, but not in this particular case, clearly. And even c5 did not come as any kind of a shock. I guess c3 now, maybe even dc5, but I like c3. If we don't lose material there, I would much rather play c3 than anything else, and that's what he does. Yeah, very curious position, and a position which apparently both of them know something about, which is maybe the weirdest part. Queen d2 now, because we don't want to be giving up anything in the center. I guess if black takes and plays e6, you have to play a3, but I don't think you're very unhappy about it.
Yeah. You can continue to jump a bit with knight a5, but it's hard to believe.
Yeah, maybe rook d1 though. Rook d1, bishop before knight c3 is a second option. Yeah, but Magnus goes bishop f5 first.
Hinting at some jumps.
Yeah, for sure. a3 is one way to stop all of that, but then knight a5 becomes much stronger. The other way to deal with it would be
G4
maybe
has
to
to be a
go.
move.
Yeah, g4 is. But that at least prompts some weaknesses on the king side. Now we can go, let's say, bishop d7 and maybe play h5 at a later stage to provoke some further concessions on the king side.
Yeah, g4 is on the board. Let's see where Magnus goes.
Yeah, I like bishop.
D7.
I like bishop d7. It's not that easy for white to unpin himself.
Knight a3, well, yeah, it's a bit off track.
Yeah. Maybe rook d1. Yeah, I was about to suggest rook d1 because you want to start preparing knight c3 to kind of start to get at least some pieces to the proper squares. But maybe e6, knight c3, knight takes d4 is something you should be very careful about. Queen takes d4, bishop c5. Yeah, extremely weird position. Rook c8 is a move you can make.
I don't know. It's hard to believe this is completely correct for black, but Magnus got a weird, messy position, which
Yeah.
I'm sure he was looking for.
Yeah, he just castles long
castles.
here, yeah. Very peculiar, all of this. Yeah, and white obviously needs to start thinking about king safety, like knight h3, bishop g2, and then try to evacuate. But yeah, Vishy goes knight c3 anyway. Now after e6, he really does need to pay attention to knight takes d4, but he obviously doesn't miss it. Goes knight g2. Yeah, feels like white is sort of a move away from complete stability, right? Bishop
King b8, f4 has been played. If h5, you just go g5, generally?
yeah. Yeah, we never open any files on the king side if we can avoid it.
Bishop e7, threatening or hinting at bishop h4 check. You can play h4 with
Yeah,
white maybe, but
I don't even dislike h4. Yeah,
played.
that's what he does. Knight a5.
Keeps asking questions, that pesky Norwegian.
Yeah, but knight g1 f3 maybe. You can play b3. I don't think it's necessarily all that bad. Yeah, because you can support the knight on c3 additionally with rook h3 later in the game. So I don't think any kind of a pin will worry him unduly.
Still, the bishop, for now, it's hard to get rid of. It's a bit
well.
annoying.
We'll have to do it sort of walking speed here. The king will probably go to g3 next move, and then or rook h3 first. Rook h3, rook f3, and then king g3 is. Yeah, that's that may have been missed.
Is it a threat though? Let's say I play queen b2, then stuff starts to hang. Yeah, bishop c3.
Yeah, you actually lose the
f4
f4
is
pawn
hanging,
there.
so he has to go queen e3.
And he will have to take with a knight on e2, but he's not that unhappy about it, I suppose. Things still appear to be under reasonable control, although the rook is now threatening to enter via the c file.
Yeah, I'm not sure at all. Looks very messy.
Yeah.
Takes rook c8. No.
I guess queen d1. Because once we, like, if we push f5, the king side will also start collapsing. Yeah.
There goes knight c6. Sneakily attacking the pawn on e5 as well, because both these guys are pinned.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Queen e3 still keeps
Knight
stuff,
d4.
but then knight d4.
Knight d4. No, I think, yeah, this has now gone quite badly wrong.
This is a sample line.
Yeah. Well, I think white might actually have to go for this, because what else do you do?
This is on the board, yeah.
Yeah.
King g2, bishop d4. But now only black can be better.
Yeah. White could still be sort of okay, but yeah, it's definitely black all the way now. Yeah, Vishy kind of lost control there somewhere.
It's incredibly tough too, with like 3 minutes. Magnus throwing all these haymakers.
Yeah, I don't think it's that horrible, honestly, but the king safety is a telling factor here. And like in an endgame, you maybe even pick white here because you start, I don't know, g5, h5. Yeah, but with the king on g2, it's not going to be easy to even think about that.
Still, yeah, it's not obvious how black proceeds either, no?
No, not at all, not at all. Do we want the king on g4? Seems like
maybe bishop a7, queen b6, and yeah, he goes queen e7 too.
Similar ideas. No, it's just not fun at all for white to hold positions like this. You generally just lose them. Actually, at some point you just miss
a d4, and at some point something happens.
Yeah, you miss a tactic and everything collapses.
Rook f4 is coming.
There's currently no tactics, but they will appear. Yeah, like bishop c7 now.
Threatening rook f4.
Bishop c2, I guess, has to be played, and white kind of has to hope that nothing. No, I don't think that works, but something else might work. Yeah, this is generally doesn't end well for.
Magnus keeps adding squares to his bishop. Yeah, no.
Yeah, rook takes f4 already wins here. Yeah, I guess. Or bishop b6. Bishop b6 is just kind of GG's. I guess queen c1 is still hanging on grimly, but you can go rook f4 then, I guess. I thought rook f4 was completely winning on a previous move as well.
Queen d4. He doesn't even want to make any fake sacrifices. He just attacks.
Queen g2, bishop a5, I suppose. Or just rook c8, c3, frankly. By this point, yeah, feels like most things win. Bishop a5 you can't take on f4 in the end because there will be a perpetual on the d8, a5 squares. So I don't see an immediate crushing blow that ends the game, but okay, Magnus does, so we'll find out. I guess rook c8 in the end. Oh no, okay. If you go king g4, you resign, but and he does resign. The big question was how does black win after king g2, but I guess rook c8 just wins. Eh? Rook c8, c2, and it's just over.
All right, so Magnus wins his game. Let's jump to Romanian Grishuk, maybe.
Yeah, it's the one live game left. Fabi actually has beaten MVL, somewhat contrary to form prior to the game in this tournament. Soyu and Yi were drawn. Shah lost with black to Ding, and this game is still ongoing.
Grishuk with better, no? B-file?
Yeah, white is definitely pressing. C takes d5 and put the knight on c4. The knight on f4 looks very beautiful, but the pawn on g2 is never going to get blundered. And yeah, white just enters via the b file and collects everything normally. Rook b2, rook a. I mean, it's a matter of taste. I mean, I wouldn't have given up the b file because I think the a6 pawn is completely doomed. No? Yeah, but you just win. Rook a8, but yeah. Rook a2 is maybe a cutesy way to...
Flashy.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's good, because... Oh, he does that. It takes rook b7, rook a3, check. This actually... Whoa, that was definitely missed. It's now a draw, yeah?
Yeah.
It's not, it's not a draw. Good God. Yeah, that was completely unnecessary.
You still go knight c4.
Yeah, but you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a throw.
Cute, but...
That was a bit of a throw by Sasha.
Wow.
and he just resigns. So yeah, that was a completely winning position that he lost in 5 moves by going for a cute combination. He did not have enough time to calculate properly.
Let's have a brief look at this game. This looks like a fun final position at least.
Yeah, they were blitzing.
Checkmate.
Yeah, they were blitzing very far in this extremely weird variation they keep on discussing. They played this in
Ah,
Baden,
that's
didn't
this
they?
nonsense. Yeah. And e6, knight f6, d5 was played in Baden-Baden. This time MVL has a new idea. f5, very daring.
Yeah, and seems kind of okay here, but like 5 moves later, he looked completely lost and indeed did lose very convincingly. Like something has gone badly wrong somewhere around here, and yeah.
Oh, you just got crushed.
Yeah, you can see this is not going to end well. And Mamedyarov Ding was some kind of a very heavily theoretical Nimzo that Shah keeps on playing, and it also didn't really come out well for him at all.
Ah, it's, yeah. A couple of years ago, like 7-8 years, he had a lot of games in these lines. I think nowadays, yeah, he's more of a Catalan or Quincy 2 Nimzo player, but in Blitz, maybe, he likes to bring out the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Ding shows he's prepared.
No, but that bishop h7 idea, like it never even looked like it was remotely working. It's a bit mysterious to me why he did that. Didn't really feel like White was anywhere close to giving mate here.
Yeah, maybe he mixed something up. I don't know. Could be a line with knight d7, castle c4 would make sense. Not sure. Let's have a look at the results. Where...
Yeah, Lev is now in the sole lead on on +3 after 4 games, having beaten Carlsen in round 1 and somewhat fortuitously beating Grishuk in the previous round. That wasn't a game he was winning for most of it. And MVL in second on +2 and 3 people on +1, including Magnus, who seems to have shaken off his bad start.
Yep, so 5 people on plus, obviously currently the favorites, but at least Caruana and actually Mamedyarov and Grishuk very much as well, still in striking distance.
Yeah.
Then Wesley So and Vishy, I think, have said goodbye to 5 white games at this point.
Yeah, pretty much, and Sasha will be very unhappy, obviously. I mean, he still could make a run at the top half, but he should be on +1 instead of -1. That he played seemingly a very nice positional game and then just threw it away in extreme time trouble, going for a flashy finish instead of a prosaic one.
Yeah, it's a pity he's not used to time trouble.
Yep. Okay, so round 5 pairings are Carlsen, who is on the upswing, playing against Wesley, who is having a nightmare. MVL is White against Vishy.
That's the predictions. 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0, 1-0.
1-0.
No, I'll take Sasha anyway. I'll keep on taking Sasha until he wins.
Okay.
Aronian Caruana, 1-0.
0-1. I'm going against the grain on this one.
Okay, and you and Gima Midarov.
1-0.
Yeah, let's agree with you for a change. So what are we doing?
We got some Aronian Fabi requests. Not against it, we haven't seen any of Fabi yet.
Yeah.
Who's still far away from his 5 stripes, but at 50%. Has a fair chance to still reach them. Let me try to figure out which cam they're on. Yeah, I'm sorry, this process always takes a while. And here they are, cam number 5, all right. Waiting for Fabi. I'll run to the toilet for a minute. The game starts in 6 minutes.
Sure.
So you can tell them a tale of your adventures in China.
Should I?
You don't have to.
Yeah. Let's at least put me on the screen if I'm to tell the chat a tale. I don't know what kind of a tale is that, but maybe there will be some questions that I can answer. No, we are not in Stavanger, Thisby. We are in Hamburg, in our home studio. We're doing not exactly a rival show to the official one, but there is an official show hosted by the star duo of Judith Polgar and Anna Rudolph, which is very, very much worth a look in. We do get the videos from on site though, which is obviously a very welcome change. And in the somewhat depressing other news, England is about to lose to Pakistan in the World Cup, which is very much contrary to form, but Pakistan is, I think, famous for not, you know, for it being very, very difficult for people to predict what they will do the next day. And it makes for a much livelier tournament, obviously, if Pakistan are playing well. Have you learned German yet? I can speak Western German, same as I could 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and I expect 5 years from now. I'm too lazy to learn languages. If you had to fight the field individually, what would you score out of 9? As in fisticuffs, dodgy, or actual chess playing? Fisticuffs I'd do against this field. I'm probably a dog against this field, frankly. As I am in chess, I suspect. Am I playing in Riga? Yes, I am playing in Riga. I play the first 3 Grand Prix and I don't play the last one in Tel Aviv. Did I play against Polgar? Yeah, I played a ton of games against Judith. I eventually won a game against Judith after maybe 10 tries, and I think my career record against her, it improved greatly in the later years, but it's still, like, I think if you take all time controls, will be something like -4, or I haven't done well against Judith over the years. Why not both, says Lorinda. Yeah, some kind of chess boxing type thing. I don't know if combining the 2 disciplines improves my chances or not. I don't know. I've led a very boring and bland and vanilla life up to now. I haven't actually been in any fights, so I don't know how I would actually react to extreme violence. Even controlled extreme violence would be, I suspect, quite difficult for me. I'd be surprised if Svidler could finish a 100-meter race, says Cthulhu. Where's that banhammer? Do I play 3 cushion? I would very much like to play 3 cushion, but there are very few tables in St. Petersburg and nobody to play against, so... But I really like, I'd be horrible at 3 cushion, but I would very much like to play a ton of it if I could find a table and opponents.
What game are we going for? We're going for Levon Caruana?
Yeah, I think that's the one on the screen, and it's too late to start clicking around, so let's go with this.
Medusa's wondering, what opening should someone try with black for a win in Blitz games? Depends on the opponent, blah blah blah, so I don't think there is an opening that magically works much better in Blitz games.
No,
We've discussed earlier that the Berlin defense or lines, we have to be precise to equalize. Sometimes, if you don't trust your memory and you haven't prepared, it might be less suitable for Blitz. And typically you see more action-packed openings. What do you think?
I think the answer is any opening, frankly. You just need to play well, you need to be prepared for potentially slightly uncomfortable positions with black, but I don't think opening matters a great deal. Unless you choose something extremely theoretical where you could run into a person who actually knows how to make a forced draw. But
that's the deep-rooted fear everybody always has in every mainline. I don't see it happen all that often.
Yeah, it's because it's not that often that a white player in a Blitz game actually needs to make a draw. Like, generally people just like to play Blitz, and not very many players, in particular at this level where there is definite pride involved, just try to, you know, vacuum everything off the board.
So we have the French here. Maybe that's the answer. Not Caruana's regular opening, but of course he speaks many openings fluently.
Yeah, Queen d7 I thought was more kind of connected with the idea of playing Bishop f8, the old Rafael Vaganian style, but Fabi is doing Yeah, this is also a line which...
Queen G3, no, this is
Yeah, Queen
theory.
G3,
Knight
Bishop
H3,
A6.
Knight F4.
Yeah, and then you go Knight E2 or Knight H3, Knight F4, H4, H5, and A4, A5, and blah blah.
Fabi does not go Bishop A6, but goes Knight C6. Maybe he's thinking Levon is relatively new to playing 1 E4, more or less full-time. He might not have spent as much time on sidelines of the French as the rest of us.
Yeah, there was a game in the Grand Key Open where somebody, I think against this particular line, went A4 and black just castled willy-nilly, and white went A5, Knight A5, rook takes A5, and won a brilliant game, but I'm pretty sure this can be stopped by black if black chose
Queen
to.
H4, stopping castles, but looks a bit artificial, no? Is this
Looks
what they do?
extremely artificial. I have no idea what this is. Yeah,
Knight
Knight
G7, Queen
yeah.
H5, or what's the point?
I guess, yeah. G6, Queen H6, and we've gained some space on the king side, and then maybe Knight G5, F7 is a threat. But it looks, as you said, very, very artificial. Yeah, and in the meantime, I'll just mention that the Gingrich-Shuk follows the... I think this line was heavily discussed in the, by now, legendary online match between Grishuk and Duda, which Grishuk said was the most heartbreaking loss he ever had in his career.
Okay. Knight G6 played by Caruana. I was wondering what the point is. Bishop G5 now, but then maybe Queen F7, H6 is coming.
Well, at some point I might consider castling short. I mean, I'm not really getting mated on the king side
Also
necessarily.
He plays Knight F4. Maybe he just wants to go for the endgame of the Queen F7. Can you go King F7?
Well, you could, yeah.
You're pinned for a while then. D3,
Yeah.
G4, maybe not.
I'm wondering if there's enough positional compensation if I just say, okay, you want a pawn, sir, and just castle long here and then go, I don't know, Knight A5, Bishop C6, Bishop B5, trade the light square bishops off and just play on the light squares. But it's a bit drastic. Yeah, he goes Queen F7.
Suat is saying Dizdar is the last man standing in this French line. I believe Croatian is Croatian, right? Grandmaster Goran Dizdar. He's specialized in this for a while, apparently. I don't know what this endgame is. If black can exchange light square bishops, he could be close to winning position.
Yeah, it's I really don't understand what Levon is doing here.
I mean, that's Fabi's point, no? He has lack of experience in these Wiener structures. But it's also hard to get rid of the bishops.
It's not that easy, but like, what is white doing? Yes, there is a weakness on G6, but you no longer have any knights. So, okay, you bring the rook to G3, black plays King F7, and says, do go on, sir.
Fabi goes Bishop C6. He might throw an A6, threatening Bishop B5 at some point.
I think
Why we'll have to play A4. That pawn could be a weakness later on. G4 doesn't really change things, I guess. You don't take, but ignore it, no?
Yeah, I don't think we're touching this.
And he goes Bishop A4.
Yeah, this
preparing
is
A6.
yeah, this is
Bishop
clever.
B5.
Yeah,
Smart.
This is clever.
Well, C6, but I guess A6.
Yeah, I guess white waits for this and meets Bishop B5 with Bishop D3 and hopes that black is less enamored of the idea of taking on D3 and unpinning the...
Levon is saying, whoa, I didn't expect this, but I'm going to have to take my jacket off already.
Yeah,
Surprised by Knight C4.
Yeah, Knight C4 check is... I mean, black is still perfectly fine, of course.
That's for sure.
But, yeah, I think white now should not be losing this. The bishop will come to D5 and it will be some kind of a... Actually, now white can maybe double on the G-file and pretend he has threats on the G-file. Somehow. Rook H3, Rook HG3, and then maybe the bishop goes away from G5 and we start threatening GF.
Yeah, it feels like Fabi left something on the table there.
Yeah, it does feel exactly like that. He's still fine, but...
H3, maybe there's F4 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay, but not as clearly better as we
Yeah,
thought.
how is Aronian 2800 and plays Blitz with a jacket on, says Mr. Dodgy. Well,
question.
It's a very fair question, but I also would like to, for those of you who remember, when there's actual stakes for the Blitz game, I think he is a lot likelier to play with a cat t-shirt on than with a jacket on.
So you're saying no actual stakes in this tournament?
Not as much as, for instance, in a World Cup playoff.
Fair enough.
There's definitely stakes here. But for those of you who remember the Tbilisi World Cup that Levon eventually won, he played most of the playoffs in a Hello Kitty t-shirt. Well, not exactly Hello Kitty, but a Hello Kitty style t-shirt.
So he's a bit like my daughter, who refuses to wear any clothing that does not feature cats on them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair description.
Alright, this has slowed down a bit, but I guess it's still interesting enough strategically to stick around. White looks fine, no?
Yeah, white is fine. The question is, can you actually create any threats on the g-file or not? I guess you can always just go rook h7 and say if you want to take on f5, take on f5. You will never actually win the g7 pawn. Yeah, and left does go gf, gf. I expect he will just go bishop b3, rook h7, h5 here.
Bishop f6?
Or bishop f6.
Not sure that works at all, just throwing out there. Gf, rook g7, king e8, rook c7. Probably doesn't quite work.
Well, he goes king e3 first, allowing g6. An invitation which Fabi declines.
Fabi stops all these shenanigans.
Yeah, this now feels very, very level because you can just go rook g8 and never even allow h5. People are saying Magnus lost. He did. Did he?
We can switch. Sorry guys, opposite color bishops. Not gonna do it.
I think
just got up.
I think
draw.
It's a draw. It's probably a draw, yeah. Yeah, it felt at some point that Wesley was doing extremely well, but maybe Magnus had it all under control. And Pramod is here.
Yeah, he's immediately firing shots at me. Like not even saying hi. Just comes out guns blazing. Still, Pramod has taken so much abuse over the years that I think he deserves getting some zingers in.
For sure. For sure.
What's Fabi doing? He's preparing b4. Levon doesn't want him to play b4.
I think it would be fair to say that that Fabi is pretending he's preparing b4. I think not very much is actually happening here.
Boring. Draw.
People are saying in the final position black is plus 19. So Wesley may have been slightly hasty in taking the draw offer.
He respects the world champion too much, you're saying. Not sure you're saying that.
Well, even knowing the evaluation, I still don't see how black is winning, so I can sort of understand it, but yeah.
These guys are done here. They moved around a bit. Now they're leaving the board. So let's see if there's still action anywhere.
Oh yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Just queen d2 check instead of queen e3 check. And then rook e2 against anything. That does feel like it might be quite strong.
Yep, that looked winning. Mr. Grishuk against Ding. Grishuk is pawn down but has bishops, so this should just be equal. And yeah, they agree to draw just as we got there.
So this is actually a very, very quiet round. Shah will probably beat Yuan Gi, but everything else up to that point was drawn. Well, not probably. Shah will beat Yuan Gi from this
It's over.
position.
He did win.
Yeah. So only one decisive result in this round, somewhat surprisingly.
Is this the leaders playing it safer? No, it's just random, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, Wesley was completely winning, and the Grishuk game was a huge mess from start to finish. Now I think it's just variance.
Levon still in the lead, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 11 MVL I think are kind of locked in. Well, it's a bit strong, but you take them to finish in the top half. Yeah.
I think we predicted all this, no? We had 4 draws and then Mamadjarov winning with black.
Yeah, probably. Give me a bit of a break.
Do your thing. We have the next round starting in 15 minutes. In the meantime, we shall discuss which game to cover next, who will win, and why. So, Mamedyarov versus Carlsen. Mamedyarov with the white pieces on 50%. Carlsen has been playing somewhat dodgy openings in order to make things happen, even with the black pieces. That strategy could, of course, backfire against a sharp tactician like Shah Mamedyarov, but I do not feel like betting against the world champion. I will say 0-1. Caruana versus Ding Liren. Caruana, yes, maybe somewhat unfairly, is not well known as a Blitz expert, but if we look at the world rankings, then I believe Caruana, even in Blitz, is firmly in the top 10 at this point. Therefore, yeah, that label might no longer be all that true. So, what does that mean for my prediction? Ding with white, obviously well prepared, obviously solid. I am going with... Ding with black, sorry. I am going with Fabi, 1-0. Grishuk versus Yu Yang Yi. I'm going with Grishuk on this one, 1-0 again. MVL Levon. That sounds like a very obvious candidate for our game to cover, because those are the two co-leaders. And I have no idea what's going to happen. Levon Aronian knocked out MVL from the World Cup semi-finals. I believe it came down to the Armageddon game after they traded blows through all the formats there, where Levon had the luckier finish. I think he... What was it? He made a draw with the black pieces, even though it was a bumpy ride, even that Armageddon game. So yeah, a lot of history there. Those two are very friendly off the board. As for results, I think a draw suits both of them because it gets them very close to qualification. So I'll say draw. And Vishy Anand versus Wesley. So I don't think either of those guys have much to play for. They will not get the 5 white games. Therefore, I'm going to go with draw again. Which game do you guys want to see? Chatsters. Pramod NVS, do you have any opinions on which game to cover next? Aronian MVL is a strong frontrunner so far. Yeah, it looks like it's not even a competition.
Yeah, I mean, 1 against 2. Why wouldn't you want to watch that?
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. Mr. Dodgy is saying, hi Jan, individual fights versus the field. What would you score out of 10? What fights? Like martial arts?
That was my first question, and then it kind of devolved in people saying that maybe a combination of the two, or...
What two? Chess and martial arts?
Yeah.
But if we add chess, of course, it hurts my chances. I don't know. I feel I'd lose to Mamedyarov and Magnus. They're both physically stronger than me, I would guess, and Magnus is such a ruthless competitor. He'd find a way. Fabi I could take, and I would guess I could take in most martial arts because I weigh like double.
Yeah, I think
Same with Ding.
the weight advantage will be...
Grisha wears similar size and height, but he's smarter than me, so that could be a disadvantage. Yu Yang Yi, I feel I outweigh enough. MVL, I think I also have a weight height advantage. Levon, I'm not sure. He's very strong. He goes to the gym all the time. He's not big, but
he's been working out.
He's strong. Vishy, I don't know. I feel like Vishy might not be into fighting people in martial arts all that much.
I think Vishy
might win by default.
Yeah.
And Wesley, I think I'd have no chance against.
Interesting.
No, I'm not sure about that. But I feel if Wesley showed up for the fight, he'd be prepared with some cool jiu-jitsu or karate.
Yeah.
And I'm being informed that, Ding has a bad hip. Yeah, I think. I've studied the martial arts for many years, but the martial arts not that often, so not sure. In general, if chess is not a part of it, I think I can make a plus score on pure kilos. But if it is, I'm going to be in trouble. All right, so we've decided on our game.
Yep.
Then there it is. MVL Levon. Did we miss any highlights in the last round? That is the big question. Let me have a look at this Carlsen game.
Yeah, it was something slightly weird, this whole move order.
He continues his goofy openings. Well, it's not that goofy really, but here. Knight takes c4 is a legal move. Queen d4, it's what's called the Dracula Gambit. It's not Frankenstein Dracula, but I thought it was some vampire stuff as well. e5 here, d5 or knight e4 or knight g4, all main moves. Wesley, of course, knows this stuff. Equalizes, I guess, comfortably.
Well, at the very least, yeah.
Yeah, then Magnus got bailed out. Yeah, just bad opening choice. Wesley knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that's always, you feel very betrayed when you play something completely offbeat like this and the guy still knows exactly what to play.
That was...
Yeah, we haven't really looked at the Yuan Yimamidjarov game at all.
Let's do it.
More of the... And it's actually kind of ironic because I think this is the opening in which Vishy lost with white to Yuan Yi earlier in the same tournament. So Yuan Yi now scored 50% on both sides of this. So.
Didn't Vishy also beat Mamedyarov in this? Maybe even in a classical game?
Yeah, that was Vaik 20, I want to say 19, yeah.
Looks like great French, no?
Yeah, something has gone badly wrong somewhere here.
4 e5 coming, yeah, this looks bad.
Yeah, and some nice tactical awareness here from Shah, and Yuan Yi put up a good fight from here, but wasn't able to actually save the game.
Just got crushed. Pramod MVS is asking, is Peter upset about England's loss today?
I'm not happy, yeah.
What was it?
What do you mean?
No, I'm aware it's cricket, but who did they play? What are they playing?
It's the World Cup. It's every 4 years, so it's a bit of a big deal. And they lost to Pakistan after Pakistan lost their first game so badly that some people, as they often do, just wrote them off. And writing Pakistan off is never a good idea.
Gotcha. Burns for 20 is asking, Jan Peter, you guys travel. Any scary, funny plane flight stories? Stoties, not stories. No, stories, not stoties. I don't know. I'm not afraid of flying.
Yeah,
at all, somehow. I don't know. I don't get worked up. So,
what's the scariest flight you've ever been on?
I don't know. Typically, these inner Russian flights have a scary reputation, like Ute Air to Khanty-Mansiysk. Even though even there, the only thing I'm worried about is I'll mess up in the old days the check-in at Sheremetyevo, because that was proper scary. It looked a bit like before they renewed it. You often had to go to some basement and it was dimly lit, and I was always scared of going there. And in those days, sometimes you didn't have your e-ticket or something. You needed to have a boarding pass or ask for it. So that was much more scary than the flight for me. But Ute Air, I think they have the slogan, "We fly in any weather conditions," so that's reassuring.
Yeah, and I just realized that I have a chess-related story on this precise topic because I once won a chess game in the World Cup. I think that was probably 2009, I want to say. I was playing, I think, into Rizaga, and he booked his, and he obviously has a very, very long way to go to Khanty. That's not a very pleasant bit of travel, and he booked all of his tickets and then missed his flight from Moscow to Khanty by about a day by not realizing that Moscow has more than one airport.
Right.
And
that's another thing I was always more afraid of than the flights. If I had to change airports from Sheremetyevo to Vnukovo and so on, like, I don't think it's really that scary, but if you don't have much time and I can't evaluate Moscow traffic and those Russian, I would always have respect for that.
Yeah, you need to have a very serious buffer there because during daytime, I think, I don't know, Sheremetyevo to Domodedovo, like having less than 4 hours to do that is insanity. Right. But he just basically, he sat on the bench for like a day waiting for his flight to depart, and at no point called the Russian Chess Federation or the travel agency or even contacted the information desk with his tickets, which was slightly weird. And then eventually some of these things happened and people told him that, yeah, that flight exists, but it's from a completely different airport. And I won the first game by default.
Boom.
Yeah, you don't really expect that to happen in the World Cup, but it does occasionally happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking scary flights now. For me, I'm just tall, so long distance flights. If it's economy and I'm trapped in the middle, it gets a bit uncomfortable. But
I have a very, very set answer to that question myself. The scariest flight I've ever been on is Copenhagen to Tórshavn.
Where's Tórshavn?
Faroe Islands.
All right.
Because you fly sort of directly over where Gulf Stream goes, and the winds are so extreme that I was told half the time the plane just turns around and goes back to Copenhagen because you just can't fly through that. And the one I was on, it continued on and landed in Tórshavn. But at some point the plane started making sounds which I don't think you don't like hearing those sounds when you're traveling by plane. Like it really sounded like all the bolts were kind of coming out of their joints and the wings were about to fall off. But it's not a long flight, so we were only extremely scared for about an hour.
Sounds like an experience people might pay a lot of money for.
Possibly, yeah.
Where are these guys? 2015, that's in 3 minutes. Show up.
And Derhenka says, yeah, only Faroese pilots are allowed to land there. They need special training. I'm not surprised. It really is quite extreme. But Faroe Islands it's easily in the top 2 of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. I would very much like to come back one day, maybe take the whole family to show it to them. It's stunningly beautiful. I'm very happy I made the journey.
Scare those kids a bit.
Yeah, Lorinda knows where it's at.
Dutch Defender is saying, just notice that tomorrow no increment until move 40. Very true. I'm very much looking forward to that. I've never been a fan of increment from move 1 because it feels unnatural. You have the same time, you're just forced to use 30 seconds on every particular move. And if Grishuk decides he wants to have 10 seconds for 10 moves from move 30 till 40, I think he should have that right. So, yeah, I believe there's no downside to it. Players can still use this time the same way, but we might get some more drama. Tehenka is saying, it's scary when suddenly the fog clears up and you're only meters away from the mountains. Yeah, but that's mainly because you're Dutch, Tehenka, and you're not used to mountains.
Yeah. And there are some whale comments in chat, and I'm sure people will be very upset. But I think if you actually do some research about the whole whaling practices they have in the Faroes, I mean, it's an extremely graphic look, and I mean, I understand the visuals of it are very upsetting, but I think ecologically, the whales they are hunting there are in absolutely no danger of extinction. It does absolutely nothing to the world population, and the meat is distributed like every citizen of the Faroes gets the exact same share. It's been like,
how does it work? We caught a new whale, here's your kilo?
Pretty much, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I understand it's not a good look, but compared to industrial whaling done in other parts of the world, I think ecologically it's kind of neutral.
I have no beef with whales. I wish they would focus a bit more on catching dolphins instead of using all this energy on whales. These guys look focused. I'm thinking Marshall or Berlin. Marshall it is.
Yeah, seems like the Marshall.
Yeah, they've been discussing mainly this 8A4 line in the Marshall for like four or 5 years now, but this time around, MVL, who really hasn't been getting very much in these discussions with White recently, goes for 63.
Apart from games against me, yeah?
No, I mean against Liv on the
yeah.
So b5, bishop b3, short castles. d6 is somewhat more common here, but obviously.
Yeah, it's actually kind of curious that Lev goes short castles, because that allows a4, and you're then supposed to get positions which not everybody's taste.
Yeah,
But
and there was some developments at a4, rook b8, and also a4, b4. He sometimes just plays, but yeah, most people prefer d6.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And now we're sort of, although not exactly,
No.
it's a slightly different ground. Yeah, knight a5, I think, yeah, you generally just go knight a5 here. All of this, I'm pretty sure, has also been seen a number of times. They, I think, normally go bishop a2 here without taking, and then black takes on d5, goes c6, bishop a2, and then there's a number of moves you can make. It might even be featured in my video series on 63, although maybe not this exact position.
Do you go b3 sometimes, like c6, bishop a2, b3, or not here?
Yeah, b3 definitely is an idea sometimes. It very much depends on whether black can successfully stop b3 before as an immediate reply.
Oh, b3 played, c5, bishop e6. Yeah, this looks like more standard, whatever we call this, d3 Spanish play.
Yeah. Should be just fine for black normally when he achieves this type of setup. Even bishop e6 in these positions is not really very scary, because if white cannot open the a file, I think sort of on one half of the board, black just holds very comfortably. I don't even know if we should be using the word holds. I don't know if black is worse.
Yeah, and Levon has obviously wealth of experience with all these structures. Then again, white is of course super solid. b3, bishop b2.
Yeah, you can just go knight c. I'm slightly surprised. I thought maybe the one idea white could have was to play knight c4, specifically on the previous move, where black had no option but to take on c4 and allow white dc4, b3, and then double on the d file and pretend the d6 is weak. I'm wondering why MVL decided not to try this. Because now this bishop on b2 is just incredibly passive, and black and as
probably won't go knight d4, no? Even though Ding has been drawing these positions.
Even that is fine. You can also just, I don't know, start going h5, g5, and
sounds more Levon-y.
Yeah.
It starts with a5, which looks like it's weakening some squares, but nothing's ever going to come to b5, so it really doesn't matter. He's just making sure to never get fixed here. g3, hinting at f4. I'm waiting for h5. Come on, Levon. h5, g5.
Yeah, I don't think it's stupid, to be honest. I think it makes decent sense to kind of, not necessarily as an attacking option, but you're just preventing white from gaining any space on the king side more than anything. And chat somewhat surprisingly devolved into a very detailed discussion of Cthulhu's sex life, which is
going.
Yeah, not what you would expect, but we're not against it.
Oh.
Yeah. Or maybe evolved. I don't know why I said devolved. Maybe it's what this chat has always been aspiring to.
I'm not sure if he really has any intentions to play f4. It doesn't really look like. Long term, of course, if white gets some more moves, king g2, h4, h5. f4 will be on the menu. But currently, I think it's also important to stop black from going d5. That's why he puts a rook on e1. And
yeah, I think, I generally in this structure, I really dislike allowing h4, h5. I'm surprised Lev decided to.
Yeah, I thought he'd go for this.
Yep. Black probably is still completely fine, but like my stylistic preference here would be to not give white too much space on the king side if we can help it.
Wow. CP Counter is on the sex life discussion.
Yeah.
And now he ran out of useful things to do, but this looks, maybe it's still fine. Ding, as mentioned, has been drawing such positions, but this looks like the max that white could get. No, you take this guy and then
pretty
you start
much,
with f4.
I think now you probably take with the c-pawn, actually. Because Ding has been taking with the e-pawn and then going e6, e5, but in this particular position... He doesn't even take. Yeah, that's a bit surprising. But I guess he is in no particular hurry to do it immediately.
No, but I thought you also keep the knight on c4, so to go knight e3.
Mm-hmm. No, but if you take, then you will have to kind of be very, very careful about not allowing d6, d5.
Yeah, Levon asked for it by playing bishop g5, threatening to take the knight. So now you have to take and go back. But didn't really ruin anything.
Yeah. If anything, maybe he gained a couple of tempi, because now the e5 pawn is so weak that black will take a long time to prepare d6, d5.
This pawn on h5 is so nice, like controlling his g6 square. Always keeping the black king boxed in if the position opens up.
Yeah, and now, I mean, the big question is whether you can play f4. And if it's any good. Because I think it doesn't lose on the spot, but whether it's any good is a much more difficult question.
What do you do? You taken d5? Or
taken d5 is one thing.
no?
Taken g6 is maybe not a completely stupid reply, but no, hg, rook g8, f5 is quite strong. I blundered f5 in that line.
f4 plate, it looks
Yeah.
like. Yeah. ef, gf, and rook e7, just preparing to maybe double.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, curious structure, because I think white very much wants to play f4, f5, but he needs to have a good reply to d6, d5.
f6, gonna take on d6. Ah no, then
Queen
queen d6, e5, queen
Yeah.
d5 check. So he goes e5.
Yeah, immediate e5 is also very
No,
interesting.
fe, yeah.
Well, I think white definitely made a ton of progress, because a5 is just perpetually weak. Like, if all the heavy pieces come off, black just loses on the spot. And it feels like this is what's going to happen here, because, I mean, how do you prevent it?
e6 also weak, queen d5, even some queen f3. What do you do? Yeah.
Well, this is just horrible. What is this queen e8 move?
No.
We can just take on a5. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with taking on a5 here.
Neither does Maxime. Queen f3.
Yeah, I thought king e2, but yeah, we can go king e2 now.
Knight c6.
Yeah, but Maxime
Don't care.
ain't afraid of no ghosts, and he is, and just push the a pawn. There will never be, well, once again, saying there will never be any checks is fraught with danger, but I don't think there will be many checks, let's put it like this. There might be one from e1, and then black resigns.
Yep, the a pawn gets the job done, and Levon does resign. Maxime keeps cruising.
Yeah, what's happening in Magnus's game? Magnus seems to be in a lot of trouble here.
He played the Benoni. And yeah, let's go to the current position.
Yeah, knight c4 looks strong, e5 looks very, e5 rook b2 though. Let's not blunder. Rook b2 I said, and then Shah seemingly did blunder rook b2, so.
That changes who's in trouble, no? Rook
Yeah,
d2, queen c5? Oh, no.
Yeah, well, you
He
still-
continue
you
to take everything.
You still end up in an endgame a pawn down. I mean a piece down, not a pawn down. So Magnus probably will just win this now, I guess.
No.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
just counterplay rook d7 again.
No, knight f4.
Yeah, e6.
Ah, even, yeah, that's even cleaner. That's a good move.
g3, h4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks lost.
Yeah, this is now very, very bad. Yeah, and leaving,
d6 doesn't help.
yeah, leaving the rook on prise is...
Camera seems to be slightly behind the thing, yeah? And yeah.
Yeah, Shah is not very happy about this, understandably, because he did seem to be completely in control, and when we switched on the transmission, he was just a pawn up with seemingly a better position as well. So yeah, a bit of a painful loss for him. Magnus is now on +2, I assume?
Yep.
Grishuk won what might be an important theoretical game in the Queen's Gambit, declined, or not.
Generally, it feels like, I was going to ask you about this, it looks like they're playing much more mainstream
Yeah.
openings than even in previous editions, where we've seen a lot of knight f3, g3, but here it's just theory battles all the way,
Yeah,
which means they do value the extra white game.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pawn up.
Just pawn up and then kind of crushed. Yeah, knight d7, bishop b5 collects a lot of material here.
What is this line? TC, bishop c4.
Yeah, you tell me, I have no idea.
Trying to remember, I think you're not supposed to go c5 here, maybe? No, you start with knight d7.
Yeah,
C5, DC, Queen, A5 is certainly a line. And, I don't know. Looks like Yu Yang Yi mixed something up because knight d7 b4. He never saw that pawn again. All right, so Grishuk back in business.
Yeah, Vishy drew.
Yeah, they were both on -3 or -2, so not that much to play for. Let's check the results.
Yeah, so after that win by MVL is back on top, +3 after 6 rounds, 11 Magnusson +2, Dingon +1, and then there's going to be a huge pile up fighting for the I guess for the 4th and 5th place. I think in particular the way they've all been playing, you kind of not pencil and you just nail on the first 3 as finishing in the top half, and Dingon +1 is not safe with 3 rounds to go.
I would even argue the guys on 4 out of 6. Not completely safe, but obviously you're not betting against them.
Yeah, and 50% is Fabi, Alexander, and that's currently it. But yeah, Shah and Yu Yang Yi could still come back into contention. Although Yu Yang Yi after a stellar start has been having a bit of a prolonged setback.
Right. All right, so let's have a look at the next round. Get our predictions in. Then if we have time, we can revisit that Shah-Magnus game that we were asked.
Yeah.
Carlsen Grishuk seems like a tempting choice already.
Yeah, seems very interesting. Who are our leaders playing? Dingliren against MVL is also a decent game. Yu Yang Yi Caruana, Aronian plays Anand, and Wesley plays Shah. Yeah, it has to be one of the top 2, I'd guess. Yu Yang Yi Caruana is not bad, but yeah, I'm all for watching a Magnus Grishuk game.
Boom. One hand is saying Magnus versus his next World Championship opponent, Sasha. We are Grishuk fans over here. It's a long, thorny road for everyone, frankly. Yeah. You gotta qualify for the candidates unless you're Caruana and then win the candidates.
Yep. Would be, I mean, if that title match actually materialized, it would be an interesting one, because I think Sasha is one of the people who don't really have any psychological problems playing against Magnus. As we all do, he has occasional chess problems playing against Magnus.
Right.
But that's kind of unavoidable. But I think he is very equipped to play against him without fear, without any baggage. And there was that famous game he won on demand against him in Riyadh in the last round of the World Rapid, I want to say, in 2017.
Could be.
Yeah, that was Rapid, because that was the tournament that Vishy eventually won.
All right, so Carlsen Grishuk it is. For the next round, not necessarily for the next World Championship match. We don't know yet. What are your plans to qualify for the World Championship match? World Cup and the Grand Prix are your horses?
Yeah, there's... I'm also, provided I get the visa, what I expect I will get the visa eventually, I will play the Grand Swiss. The Grand Swiss,
right.
Yeah, the Grand Swiss also qualifies a couple of people, right?
One.
Oh, one, yeah, okay. I mean, the odds are not in my favor in either of those things. But
they're in no one's favor, but some of them qualify.
Yeah, I'm not kind of singling myself out as somebody who is battling the long odds, but they are long.
Mr. Dodgy is saying it kind of seems like none of the Russians have psychological problems against Magnus.
Yeah, it's a generalization, and as such, it's not great. But yeah, you could maybe make an argument. I mean, Nepo is now that I have relinquished that proud record. Nepo is the last one standing, right, with the plus score against Magnus in classical
From the
chess.
2700 plus players, yeah.
Yep.
Not only does he have a plus score, he has +4 -0, which is quite amazing. But yeah, he's the only one. Waiting for Mr. Magnus. So it looks like we have a moment. We can recheck this game. Yeah, Magnus, as mentioned, has been playing very sharp. Openings with black, trying to mix it from early on this time. Sort of a Benoni. This Topalov Benoni with the knight on e7.
Yeah, Topalov / Moro. I think Morozevich also played a decent amount of that in years gone by.
Yeah, looks like it was worse for most of it. Some back and forth, but Magnus refuses the move repetition by going bishop h6.
Yeah, and immediately runs into turbulence, and the queen side starts kind of collapsing. Yeah,
Good.
Somewhere around here, white has to be close to winning, I assume. 2 pawns up for really not very much.
Can you go chicken?
Yeah, you can definitely go back, but I think queen b7, if it forces queen d8, I mean, how is this a mistake? Right. Maybe even queen c7 now, or queen c7 on a number of moves. Yeah, here, and also after bishop b2, b8, I think queen c7 is very much a move you could consider.
Fair enough. There's a question by Sahar. Peter Jan, are you guys into watches?
Not at all, no.
Watches are this new thing where you don't check the time on your cell phone anymore, but you have like attached to your wrist, like there's this new Samsung smartwatch and Apple Watch and so on. Nah, not much.
I have won a number of watches in my life, and I've also been given a number of watches.
I own a Kirsan watch.
Yeah, and that is definitely on the list, and I've given most of them. Well, I mean, basically, it's for my kids to wear if they want to. I'm really not into watches, and I now wear this Fitbit thingy, which does the same job without.
I do think aesthetically it's the only piece of male, if you want to call it jewelry, I'd be attracted to, but I don't think they have any particular use, and they're sort of heavy on the hand. I'm not a big fan. These functional things, these Fitbits and so on, they might be useful, but I feel the phone can do so much that more tech. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but it was a birthday gift from my wife, and also in my particular case, I find that it kind of forces me to pay more attention to actually, you know, it tells you when you've achieved 100%, you know, physical activity per day. So you get.
So never?
That's unfair.
Not in your case. No. I'm just thinking in general. It's just quiet if you don't reach your goals? Or does it push you, like, does it tell you every half an hour,
well,
go do stuff?
If you do what we're currently doing, it will actually, after an hour of sitting down, it will kind of buzz on your wrist and tell you it's time to move. So it's a bit passive aggressive, but.
My nephew's class, they had a competition with these devices who can walk the most in a week or something. So he spent most of his time just spinning it on his finger, and he was producing serious miles. Well, playing computer games with the other hand.
Yeah, and because not all tournaments are very strict about not wearing anything at all, halfway electronic, I have been playing with that thing on for the past year in most tournaments, actually.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
I saw a guy getting banned in the first round of the Thailand Open, the only tournament I know, for wearing an Apple Watch.
No, an Apple Watch can actually connect to things and do things. This thing barely has Bluetooth.
So it does have Bluetooth?
It does have Bluetooth, yeah. Well, in general, I ask permission of the fellow competitors before doing it, and I'm not trying to sneak it in. It's kind of openly worn. And I now have a kind of an answer to the question I myself have been wondering about.
So you mainly wear it because you do most of your walking during chess games?
Pretty much, yeah. I wanted to know what is the distance I cover during a normal, like 40 move game. It's like between, I don't know, 5,000 and 8,000 steps. So
what's that in kilometers?
Pretty much
1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No, must be more.
No, I think a person of my height, a step is like 90 centimeters. So it's.
Wow. Rikala is asking, banned just for wearing it. No, he lost the game just for wearing it. Yeah. Magnus continues his policy of funking it up in the opening. Against the French, he goes to f4.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Well, how bad can it be? You want to go d4? Can black go d4?
I'm pretty sure he can, yeah, if he wants to. And then I guess we go bishop d3, bishop d4, and then d2, d3. Transposes to some... Well, not transposes, but like it resembles some weird types of positions. Knight h6, knight a3. These guys are taking no prisoners in the silliness stakes.
I don't know. Knight h6 I thought was a natural move.
Yeah, for sure. But still, the overall impression is of two people...
trying to one-up another.
Yeah, doing silly walks.
Burns for 20 is saying, what about a big gold necklace instead of a watch? Maybe. I don't think I could pull it off.
No, it was very much en vogue in my country in the mid-90s, worn by people. I never really belonged to that caste. Mainly, basically, gangsters.
Wow.
So, do we think it's good French for white, or mediocre French, or just not a French?
Is there such a thing as bad French?
Well, very arguable. It's also somewhat curious because Sasha is maybe the most famous proponent of the advanced French among the modern elites, so he will be reasonably familiar with like general themes. Although in his games the pawn is always on f2, it's like never on f4. And it might be relevant because in the structure, in particular if white is ever forced to take on f5, you kind of want the pawn on f2 because the bishop on c1 goes to g5, or at least hopes to go to g5 and get traded for the e7 bishop.
I can't take the pawn. I like pawns.
I don't think you can. I will take with the f knight, then I will go bishop b3, bishop c5, b4. I think this loses a piece, right?
That's bad news.
Yeah, something along these
Then
lines.
Gone. All right. Cunning trap. But Grisha will see through that.
Yep. I mean, there's always some reasonable, somewhat passing moves you can make, like rook c8 is an obvious choice. Knight b4 is something that Sasha finally settles on.
And I think we have to apologize. I was saying something along the lines that Magnus keeps playing sort of offbeat openings, but we're being informed by CP Carter that he even played this in Classical. I had no idea about that, CP Carter, and I'm sorry then.
Yeah, knight b4, apart from obviously just trading a pair of knights off it, it also creates a very important positional idea of playing bishop b5 and getting the light squared bishops off the board.
Also, generally, this stuff is fine for black, even if the bishop has to go passive. Like black structure is very hard to touch. So Magnus would only do this if out of other options. What do you do though? Like bishop b1, king h1 is...
Yeah, I think... Well, it's curious that... I guess bishop b5 was losing material, because I would just snap play bishop b5 if the move was legal. But Sasha plays h5 first.
But it sounds like CP Carter lost that game where he played 2f4. After he outprepped his opponent in good position. It's much easier to outprep your opponents in good positions than in bad positions.
That is very true.
But yeah, that's a pity. Sorry to hear that. h5, h4, threatening knight g3 check is sort of annoying in these positions.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much...
Well, hinting at knight g3 check, I should say. It's always there to think about.
But mainly you're just kind of asking the question of, like, how do you safeguard the position of your king? You could maybe make an argument for playing g3, but it's an ugly move to consider.
Yeah, and then bishop b5. No, black is fine here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And eventually he does take on
If you have to, he will, but he's not going to be thrilled about it.
No. And a4 trying to, I guess, lock down the bishop on d7 as much as possible and follow it up with
this,
yeah, b3, bishop a3. Yeah, that's clever.
He good.
It's clever. Queen c3, queen c2 maybe? But I have a feeling the queens are not coming off. Like white just snaps queen e1 there and goes to play for the dark squares. Queen c3 played. I don't know if Sasha will play queen c2 though. He does, eh? Interesting.
There we go.
Yeah, I think queen e2. Yeah, queen e2
played.
Yeah, queen e1 played straight away.
Just as we praise Grishik's position, he now seems under pressure.
Yeah.
Darn you, Magnus.
Yeah, queen b2.
How can we explain stuff?
Yeah, queen b2, rook c2, I guess, to activate at least something. Although, I mean, queen g3 just protects everything very, very comfortably there. Yeah, I think...
no, when the dark square bishop's off, he'd rather be white, no?
Mm-hmm. Magnus has definitely come out ahead in this sequence, although the position remains kind of...
g6, I'm not sure if he had to go g6, but this is scary.
Yeah.
Some e6 is looming.
Yeah, even immediately with Magnus is... I mean, h3 is a very nice move to include first. Yeah, but you kind of...
really want to go e6.
Yeah, the trigger finger is really itching here to go e6, 95, and then queen f6, 96 or something like that.
See if he agrees.
I guess black takes with the queen and then goes queen d6 after rook e1. That would be... That would be my guess. Oh.
No. Very alpha zero-ish. Like, get this pawn to f6. Then again, if you lose it instantly, it's less cool.
But you don't.
But you don't.
Yeah, you don't. Bishop 6, b4, b5. Yeah, he'll... Yeah, this is extremely bad for black, I feel. b5, bishop b8, rook c7, and then... Yeah, even if you don't win on the spot, it's just so passive. The moment the second rook comes in, and it will eventually come in, the game more or less ends.
How do you wrap it up? Knight somewhere, rook e7.
Well, a6. I mean, it all depends on how fast you are against
a6.
a6.
If you want
yeah,
some.
ab a5. Yeah, that's just very, very bad now.
Yeah.
Rook b7 is good, I guess. Yeah, rook b7 is just good enough. No need to be fancy here.
I have to be careful praising Magnus too much, because I will instantly receive angry messages from a certain Dutch chess player. But he's playing well sometimes, no?
Yeah, he is capable of playing good chess for sure. Yeah, rook takes 8 and something like rook b6 and then rook b8. You're like, black will be begging to give this bishop up for the a7 pawn. Yeah, game over. Sasha resigns.
Yeah, that looked from, well, what to my dumb eyes looked like a good position to Grishuk. Like he got completely outplayed from him, starting with his a4 b3.
a4 b3.
Nice,
a4 b3 is the start of a very, very nice sequence. And eventually black actually had good reasons to regret playing h5, I think. With the pawn on h6, you can castle and put the bishop on e6 and be very, very safe on the king side. But with the pawn on h5, the dark squares were eventually his downfall.
Puny details. How's MVL doing?
Well, I assume playing for a win here with black, yeah? b3, b2, and he is already a piece up and should be able to wrap this up somehow. Bishop b5, king, bishop f4, king comes to either.
Bishops are too strong.
Yeah. Although the other one is kind of stuck on a2. I wonder how completely trivial this is, but maybe it is, yeah. Bishop b3 check now.
Now it escapes.
Yeah, bishop b3 and then king b4, king c3, and yeah, he even has time to pick the g pawn up if he wants.
He does want to.
Yeah, g7. Oh, he doesn't even go g7. But then I guess the d pawn just wins. Yep. Yep, MVL will win in a moment.
So MVL and Magnus going strong. Levin also doing well. He drew against Vishy, but it looks like, yeah, Levin's done the math that with his score he doesn't really need to push it very hard. At least this line he played, this looks like a typical rookie one Berlin final position.
And Wesley continues kind of waiting for the event to end, losing this time to Shah. That's maybe unfair because he actually played a very sharp line in this game, but But generally speaking, it feels like he is in no real danger of actually getting the 5 whites, and he is.
No, he hasn't been for a while, and then, yeah. I'm assuming Wesley is also one of those guys that are more focused on their classical rating than their Blitz rating or their classical game in general, so he probably doesn't. It's not so invested.
Yeah, so Fabi is still pushing in some 2 against 1 endgame, but yeah, there's
actually, let's have a look. Yes, sorry.
There's actually still a game going on, yeah. Oh, actually, well, 2 against 1 already. I mean, 2 against 0. Okay, he'll just win this now. I don't think you save this with white. It's just very difficult to even create any tricks when your position is so horrible.
No chance. And with 2 seconds increment, you also never really lose on time here. Your hand will make the moves normally.
Yeah. Very, very occasionally, somehow people fail to win these positions, but I don't think we're going to see that. Although so far Fabi hasn't really been making too much progress.
No. He also hasn't blundered. F5? Not yet, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm slightly sad that the king is back on e7, but eventually it will start coming up again.
Do you think it's a good technique to keep the rook on a light square and the king on a dark square to avoid light forks? F5, come on.
Yeah, king. Yeah, it's not been
F5.
It's not been stellar, but the thing is,
still winning.
Yeah, he'll still win because there's just no way for white to.
Come on, make an active move. King F5. Fabi's trying to delay the whole event single-handedly. You guys announced... What, now he resigned?
Who resigned?
Someone resigned. I'm assuming white.
Well,
Fabi lost on time, it looks like.
That is a little bit heartbreaking.
That's, yeah, surprising.
Actually, the final position, if it's the correct final position, is already a draw, because it seems like Fabi blundered the f6 pawn, but... Yeah, we'll wait for confirmation, but... Yeah, if he lost this, it's going to be a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, because...
Why did he blunder the f6 pawn? Sorry, knight c5 check is coming, yeah?
It's not the live position.
Ah, sorry.
This is what we have on file as the final position. Here, after b6 check, it is now a draw, but you still really aren't supposed to lose this. Yeah, and people are saying he lost on time, so...
Yeah, that's a bit painful. And I'm guessing, just a guess, but I'm guessing Fabi also doesn't play that much 3-2 blitz over the board, because yeah, you can tell with the guys that are very experienced, they just have this rhythm of making 1 move per second.
Yeah. So what does that mean for our standings? Because that was actually an important game in the
Those were sort of in the middle of the pack, no?
Those were the people fighting for like those 4th, 5th spots, and...
Yeah, Yu Yang-Yi now on 50% and Fabi down to -1.
Yeah,
that's a big one, because had Fabi won this, he's very close to making it.
Yeah, that's an important result, and we have the same situation of the top 3 more or less nailing it in, and yeah, there's now a 3-way tie for the 2 places to qualify.
What are the rules? I never know these things. I should, if everybody has the same points, like if there's whatever. First 3 have a plus score, and then there's 3-4 people on 50%. It's direct encounter?
I'm guessing it's maybe burger and then direct encounter, and then maybe number of wins with black, or some kind of a slightly arbitrary tie break like that.
I think normally our little table here knows these things and gets it right. If you know these things,
yeah, if somebody actually has
tell us stuff,
hard data on that. Oh, there it is, yeah.
Tie breaks, points scored, obviously Sonneborn Berger, wins, number of black wins, and rating.
Curiously, the head-to-head just doesn't count at all. That's I always find it extremely strange when it's not even, let's say, number 4 on this list, because, you know, they have played a game of chess, and why shouldn't it count?
Well, the other guy scored more points against the same field. Like, why shouldn't that count?
No, I mean, I'm not saying it should be above Berger, but to not have it on the list at all? Like, why is it less important than the number of wins? Is my question.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like any system is fairly arbitrary as long as it's the same points. But also for time reasons, and there's not that high stakes here. Normally you don't want to have an extra player for tiebreak. Although it would be sort of on brand not to have an Armageddon game.
Yeah.
To qualify for the extra white.
Sure. So we have 2 more rounds to go today. And what are the pairings for round 8? We have the Caruana Carlsen game, which I think is the obvious.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the obvious one. Here, among the leaders, Lev is playing against Ding Liren and MVL is playing against Yuan Gi, which are all very relevant games. But I think Caruana Carlsen takes precedence because it is fast becoming the go-to game. And MVL is playing Carlsen in the last round as well. So I think we're going to be watching Magnus for the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. If Magnus qualified and MVL before the last round, we could argue against them. But
Yeah.
those are the World 1 and 2 in classical chess and the World 1 and 2 in Blitz chess. So hard to make a case.
And Issa Vulpes says head-to-head is a bit of an unfair advantage to the one who had white in the head-to-head. Yeah, that is an argument.
True.
And this is why I am making absolutely no argument for head-to-head being the most important tiebreak. But I still think that not counting it at all is a bit weird to my eyes. I will stick to that point. And Lorinda says head-to-head is good in any sport game because it stops people going for tactical results. Yeah, I think to a large extent this also is fair. Although I don't think in a Blitz tournament like this, tactical
Chess normally
results...
draws a tactical result. No, that
Yeah.
doesn't help with the head-to-head.
Yeah.
What do you think we will get in this game? Actually, that's the predictions. We haven't done predictions for a while. Ricola needs to work.
We've been very lax in our prediction game.
Carlsen MVL. I'm saying...
No, that's round 9.
I was right.
Caruana Carlsen, I'll take Magnus.
Me too. 0-1.
Anand Mamidarov, I'll take Vishy.
I'll take draw.
Okay, Grishuk, Wesley, I'll take Sasha. MVL, Yuan Gi, I'll take MVL. And I'll take Lev over Ding.
I'll take Grishuk as well. I will also take MVL. And I will go for... Yeah, I agree. 1-0 Aronian Ding. Anybody there? Grishuk's chair was on screen there for a moment.
Yep.
Plachuta saying, I hope Magnus loses. That gives us more action in the last round.
I don't think it actually does. I don't think, like, for Magnus and MVL not to qualify, some incredibly miraculous sequences of events need to happen. Let's check the Blitz rating, though. Maybe in that respect it's interesting. So MVL is now 10 points ahead of Magnus. We assume this is live, right?
Normally, is it?
Yeah. So yeah, that final round game is very, very relevant. I'm not sure. I think it basically, since it's for double the marbles, it's the one that counts the most. Although, I mean, Magnus is playing against somebody who is 28-02 as well in the previous round, so that also will net him some points if he wins. Who is MVL playing? MVL is playing Yuan Gi, right? Or Ding, Yuan Gi.
Yuan Gi. Mm-hmm. There's Mr. Fabi. What do we expect in the opening? I don't think they'll have a Sveshnikov theory debate. I think more creative choices from Magnus.
Yeah, Fabi has already played, and with great success. He's already played this knight c3. Although, okay, that's against Snyder. Yeah, that's against Snyder players. Knight c3, d6, d4, queen, d4, queen, d2, b3 crap is not going to work against somebody who is trying to play the Sveshnikov against you.
No, I have a feeling it's going to be e4, g6, or
yeah, maybe
e4, e6. After last game, maybe it's inspired by Grishuk.
Yeah, not impossible at all. Yeah.
b6.
No, I think it's going to be one of the centralish pawns.
Not a lot of chatter there.
No,
Both sides demonstrating how tied they are to each other.
Mind games.
Wow. Fabi really leaning forward on that chair.
Yeah, none of them are actually using the backrest very much.
Lean back. Here we go. E4.
Yeah, G6, here we go. He's actually sticking to his story of this being playable.
Fabi, classical guy. He will play E5. Should we do D6 as a big pawn sacrifice? But you can ignore it, of course.
Yeah, you just take on D6 and you take a slightly better position here.
Knight C3, is this all theory?
Pretty much, yeah. Everything is theory these days.
Maybe Knight B5 was a threat.
Yeah, Knight B5 was generally the idea. And we're not playing Knight F3 here because Knight F4 would then be slightly awkward and you want to have to Bishop F3 as a reply. I'm guessing Black... Yeah, I mean, if you go Bishop G7 here, White probably takes on H5 finally.
Yeah,
so
now it's a threat, no?
Yeah. So eventually what you get is like the Tivikov Scandinavian, but probably some tempi down, I would say.
Not sure, because Knight C3 didn't come with tempo. But
yeah.
We spent more with the Knight. We can compare that.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, but also Fabi seems to be...
He seems to have studied this.
Yeah, reasonably confident. I assume he came with Rustam as usual, and Rustam may have noticed this happened previously in the tournament, and I don't know if this is part of their match prep, but it might be part of what prep they've done.
Also, what I think, I'm not sure if everybody does this, but there are like some 5-10 minutes between games quite often that you might go talk to Kazim at least for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Before the next game, and he might tell you, Magnus been going this G6, Knight F6, but you can do this, or whatever. Like, I'm not sure everybody does it, but some people certainly will consult.
Yeah.
Some help you in games, no?
For sure.
Before games, sorry. Not during.
I quite like this for White, but it can get very sharp very fast, obviously. Like Knight E5, I guess we play Bishop B7 and we start some kind of counterplay against the G4 pawn. Yeah.
Do you ever want to go Bishop H6 or not? Not yet.
Well, at some point for sure, yeah.
This always takes a Knight G4 you have to calculate, so probably not high on his to-do list. But then, how bad is Black's position?
Perfectly fine, I think. It felt to me like maybe recent couple of decisions was a bit too slow. I felt like, I mean, King B1 is a bit of a nervous itch. You, unless you play King B1, you feel like your queenside position is unsafe. But I think he could have easily used that tempo on something more productive.
Should be 7. F3 might be necessary to cover the E4 square, because B4 and Knight E4, whatever was
Knight
looming.
H5 even is decent, but Knight 6 is just more comfortable and strong.
This looks fine for Black.
Although he will now get Bishop B3 and I guess Knight C5, and this is a decent development for White, because that Knight was not really doing very much prior to. Although Rook 88, Bishop C8, yeah, we can keep the bishop alive. And it's, I think, very much two Blacks.
FD8, which is somewhat surprising.
Yeah, I guess Magnus doesn't really value that bishop on B7 nearly as highly as I do.
But does he value the knight on C5?
Yeah.
Come on, Fabi. H4, G4. There he comes. Knight B4, A3. Just.
I was actually going to argue for bishop F3 there, but I was too late, and now I think the moment is gone for White to try that. I think I mean, if we take and play bishop d4, I guess the knight returns to c6 and the bishop will have to go back to e3 or f2 or wherever. Yeah. Knight b7, queen b7 played. I don't think we're allowing rook takes c3 in a blitz game. Even if it's not a winning threat, you just never want to allow it because it makes Black's life a lot easier. Yeah, bishop d4, knight c6 as predicted, and the bishop has to go...
Move repetition.
Yeah, not happening.
d4, knight c6 back.
Yeah, Black is extremely comfortable now.
It's gonna take on f3 after bishop d4, probably. Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
No?
Yeah, now knight c4 or...
You can still take.
Yeah, we can still take, but it's I guess less attractive here because you don't get knight fd5 with the immediate massive attack on c3 with a knight on e5 in the way.
To take.
Bishop d4 before, what does he want here? It's slightly surprising to me. Or just rook c8, okay. Interesting, because it's not obvious to me this is good. f4? I guess he just wants knight c4.
Queen b2, also knight c4.
I mean, it's clearly very playable, but I don't know how objectively strong it is.
It's better than the position before rook c3.
Yeah, exactly. If black were in trouble, you always go for this, but I think black were perfectly comfortable prior to the sacrifice. So. Yeah, he just wants to go king a1, I guess. Maybe you can
Takes
even
bishop d5, or what's the trick?
Uh,
Oh, sorry. Hanging pieces left and right. Doesn't take.
yeah, rook d3. Queen c7, a5 normally, but yeah, queen g2 is... You're attacking the pawns on the king side, but more importantly, you're not allowing queen e3.
Might also be threatening knight a2 or some triples.
Yeah. This is not great. Rook f3 maybe? But then black can just play b4 and just log this knight in on c3 and... 5. Knight a2 queen b2 check. Maybe this is not...
Not a real threat. Yeah.
You can go knight c3 back.
Continuous play.
No, I think black is just winning there actually. I think it's just completely winning. Knight a2 queen b2 knight c3, and you have to give the exchange up because rook a4 is mate.
Can also go queen b2 f6
Yeah.
maybe. Rook's hanging. Rook a4 is there.
Knight a2 played, yeah. I think he's just confident in this. Queen e1.
This looks bad.
Yeah, I'm guessing knight b4 just wins because queen e5, king h6. You probably run out of checks. Although it's
b4 to stop any checks also.
yeah, yeah. If you wanna be very safe, you can start with rook e4. But I have a feeling knight b4 just wins.
Magnus weighing his options.
Yeah, it's plenty of time, I suppose. Yeah, half a minute is sort of plenty of time in the context of this game. The issue with rook e4 is that it allows endgames, like queen f2 forces the queens off. And he does go knight b4, queen e5, and I think king h6 is the point. I couldn't find anything wrong with this at all.
g5 check.
Even king h5 I thought was perfectly safe. For a second I was scared about queen f4 check, g5, rook d6 check, but we have f6 there, which is kind of important. Yeah, rook fd1 is never going to be good enough. Yeah, it's basically resignation. Knight d3 and then rook c2, or the immediate rook c2. Yeah, it's basically you kind of resigned.
Is there a threat? No, still no threat, no?
It's the same position. There was no threat prior to this and nothing really changed.
This is...
Yeah, and rook d6 f6 I think eventually did happen. The exact same mechanism that I was pointing out earlier.
Boom.
Yeah, so we were correct in this game. MVL also won against UNG. We got that right. Some kind of a theoretical open Spanish. Grishuk is... That's a weird position. It's an incredibly weird position. Looks like Grishuk is actually losing to Wesley. Yeah, completely lost. I don't know what happened prior to that because it feels like, you know, in positions where one side is two pieces. Ah, okay, there was some weird rook and light pieces against queen situation where the pawns on the king side just ran and black won.
Yep, so Wesley's gonna win, and Aronian against Ding Liren
Sorry,
is...
this will be a draw. Although black can...
I'm always scared, but yeah. You can just throw this pawn overboard and still draw. I'm asked. Okay, rook c5.
Yeah, you're not even obliged to.
No, and a draw suits Levon fine.
Yeah, just rook c8 now. Yeah, it's just the easiest.
To shake hands.
And one last game that we haven't seen yet is Anand against Shah. Yeah, Vishy.
How's Shah's tournament been? I sort of lost track. He's unlikely to qualify.
I think he's on -1, or maybe even -2.
Here's Grishuk. Let's stick with Grishuk. But here's a queen down, so we won't stick with him for very long, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think this is... Yeah, queen a8, queen b8.
Geometry. Didn't see it.
Well, he'll come back to it and spot it later, I think. Okay, Sasha. I think Sasha spotted it, so... But now the f-pawn just runs, and yeah, you never save this. Not entirely sure why he's continuing, frankly. There is an increment, so you're just never ever saving this.
We just saw Fabi lose rook and knight in 2 pawns versus rook and knight. But yeah, he does resign.
And yeah, these positions are...
Draw, but not much fun. And
yeah, I
2 seconds, no?
I think like f3 against g5 h4 is reasonably easy draw that everybody knows. I wonder if this is simpler or harder to hold than that one.
I have no idea.
I don't really know. Yeah,
I'd be scared, but the good thing is if h gets exchanged for f against the g pawn, you can defend passively on the back rank.
Yeah,
and here
that's probably very relevant.
Can you go f3? Doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think you want to.
Some king f4 and king g3 business. Yeah,
that's the way. I think that's one of the ways to lose. One of the kind of rare ways to lose in this position. Yeah, they could continue shuffling this for a while, but I have a feeling Vishy is not necessarily very perturbed here, because his play is kind of self-explanatory. You get checked along the first, you go king h2, otherwise you give checks to the black king.
Let's get some full screen.
Yeah.
But my piece is left. And yeah. Shah says, alright, you know your rook endings. Draw. So, results-wise, you're the mathematician on this little program. Can we already crown the first qualifiers? I believe it's going to be very hard to catch MVL and Magnus.
Yeah, I think even Lev is mathematically safe. Ding might not be though.
No, how would he be? If he loses, Mamedyarov and Yu Yang-yi can leapfrog him easily. So it's these three, yeah?
There could be a large... Depending on who they play, can we have a look at the pairings for a second? Because if they play each other, it's slightly more tricky. But so if Fabi wins, Fabi plays against Wesley. So if Fabi wins, Yu Yang-yi makes a draw, and both Ding and Mamedyarov lose.
Everyone is 4.
Yeah, and then everybody is on -1, and we have like a 4-way tie for 2 spots, and then some people whip their calculators out and start pushing buttons.
Rikola is saying I predict only 1 out of 5 correctly. What did Peter get? Didn't I copy all of Peter's predictions? He doesn't want to say he's disappointed. But well, you could do better. Well, that's better than saying I'm not upset, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
I do apologize. Let's do predictions. Carlsen MVL, that's the big one. That might be for all the marbles in the world rankings.
What's the... They both won, right? So... Apologize. Very sorry. Your ears.
Here we go. It's 10 points, so with these crazy K factors, if Magnus wins, he overtakes
Yeah,
MVL.
he definitely overtakes MVL. But in case of a draw, MVL finishes this little event as world's #1.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're aware of the current score, but I think Magnus will have a rough idea that if he scores fewer points than MVL, he does not get to keep the #1 spot. So that's a big one. I'm going with 1-0. Although he lost the last 2 Blitz games in this Grand Chess Tour in Abidjan to MVL. Then we have Yu Yang Yi Aronian. I'm going draw.
I'm taking Lev in this one. I'm still unsettled about the game of the day, though.
Wesley Fabi.
Yeah, that's kind of important for.
Now we gotta go with Carlsen.
No, of course. I mean that
Number 1.
there might be some internal dynamics going on in the Wesley Fabi game, but it's, I mean, nowhere near important, despite the Magnus MVL game not deciding anything in the context of the pairings.
So it's must win for Fabi.
Yeah.
Wesley. Yeah, can't qualify for the extra whites anymore, but he won't want to lose the last round to Fabi.
Yeah, and Fabi, if he wins, has a very theoretical shot, because Ding is white against Anand and not really expected to lose, and Shah is in more danger in that respect, because he is playing white against Grishuk, and Grishuk... Actually, Grishuk would be in that tie as well. Grishuk is... We didn't see him because we didn't scroll far enough, but... both Grishuk and Fabi will be playing, we assume, quite sharply for a win with black, because it might get them into a tie for 5th.
So I'm saying 1-0 in Wesley Caruana, because Fabi's take great risks.
Okay.
And...
Ding Anand, I'll take the draw, and Mamedyarov
me
Grishuk,
too.
I'll actually take Sasha there.
But you always take Sasha. So.
Yeah, it's not a huge shock.
I will go against the grain and take Mamedyarov and Wesley.
Okay,
because
and
they play with
in
black
the
before.
Carlsen MVL game, I will take. Yeah, it's so hard to bet against Magnus playing with white. But just to be a contrarian, I'll take the draw.
Fair enough. Rikala, you got it all written down? I might get Grunfeld. But Magnus not really in D4 theory mode, I would guess. It's, I don't know, one F4 or one G3
I think
or
it will
B3 or one of those.
Something offbeat, yeah. I don't think Magnus needs to start showing stuff.
What's our little schedule?
I think we are 8 minutes away. No, only
2 minutes.
Only 2 minutes away, yeah.
Wow.
That's better. Yeah, we are in Hamburg, BT.
Hamburg City.
Where the girls are pretty.
I've never heard that. But I've seen some pretty girls. Magnus MVL.
Is it as stuffy weather-wise as here in Nordrhein-Westphalia?
Wow, it's impressive you know what NRV stands for. It's very up and down. But yesterday we had the hottest day of the year so far. 33 degrees sunshine. Today is still warmish, but there was some rain thrown in. So, you know, Hamburg weather is like a box of chocolate. Speaking of a box, you want a tissue?
No, it's... we're almost there, and I can't promise I won't sneeze anymore, but I think the feat has passed. It's extremely annoying, because this year it started like early April, and it's June now, and it still hasn't stopped. Like, I've had a few years of very light seasonal allergies, but this year I'm just dying. It's extremely annoying.
I can imagine. BT45, I was saying 35 degrees, sweating in my smalls. What are smalls? Is that like tidy whities?
Yeah, I guess.
Let me Google smalls.
Diggy Smalls
Diggy Smalls.
is a Orientalisches restaurant.
Sounds good. Whoa. And FW.
Very.
We'll never find out. And they're starting, so I have to abort the mission to figure out what small stands for a moment. And Magnus not messing around. 1e4. What's gonna be? Ah, there we go. 3b4. So he's messing around.
Goodness gracious. I mean, of all the 3b4 variations, I think against 2d6 it should be just completely unplayable, right?
I guess so, but maybe it's a callback to MVL just giving him a pawn with b5 in Grand Can. He's thinking, you know what? Let me repay that favor. Here's my b pawn. But yeah, this is somewhat weird gambit.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
And MVL is immediate. Whoa, I don't understand anything anymore. I mean, he could have actually taken the pawn back there, I think, and I would have. And he just continues the
He's in gambit mode. Maybe some bishop c5 is awkward. Who knows?
Yeah.
AB?
Maybe d5, I guess, is the point. Otherwise, bd4 is just extremely weird, and he takes with the knight. ba, I guess he takes with the bishop, goes castles, knight c3, and just, even...
It's very similar to MVL's pawn sacrifice in a way. Sort of a banco position you're playing, but your opponent doesn't have a banco position.
Yeah. Knight c3, knight c6. Yeah, it feels like black should just be better here, because he has more pawns. Maybe bishop c4 and pretend you are kind of fine-ish, but yeah, pretend is what you're doing here. And Fabi is playing some kind of a classical King's Indian, which also confirms our expectation of him
to win.
Yep. So it says Marshall liked d6 before. Marshall liked all kinds of weird stuff.
He has 2 gambits named after him, so he probably played a bunch that weren't named after him. Huh?
Yeah, I think it's a safe assumption.
Rikala saying the birth of the Carlsen opening. Yeah, I'm sure this has some name, like crappy wing gambit or something.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't be doing any research whilst the game is still going on, but...
Or ever.
Or ever, yeah. G5 is a very concrete reply, yeah. E5. We can even probably take on a3 and go like queen e7 first. Or knight g4. Knight g4 is just fine.
What is he doing? He's just getting crushed now? Pawn down with a bad position?
Yeah, this is not the...
Queen e2, what should do?
I think we go queen e3 against most of those things. Yeah, queen e1.
Queen e1.
Yeah, that's smarter. Yeah, I like this better.
I'll say it's queen h4 after queen e3.
He's not obliged to trade queens if we have queen e3.
Gotcha. Queen e3 might also be knight d5 on a kinky day.
Nice.
Tactic Young, finally making a rare appearance.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think MVL kind of approached this slightly too relaxed, in too relaxed a fashion. And now at least has to think. Queen c5.
Rook b3 probably.
Yeah, just go rook b3. I don't think you need to be fanciful here. The issue for MVL here is that knight e3, knight a4 is very awkward. So he is forced to go f5, which is a concession, obviously. Like knight a4, queen c3 now.
You don't take, yeah? So tempting.
No, I don't think we take. Yeah, and now knight a4, queen c3. I actually think white is just much better suddenly.
Whoa.
No, I think it was just badly misplayed from a certain point
Knight
onwards.
c5, you just get control of all the squares, huh?
Yeah, wow. You're better all over the board. Yeah, queen a5, queen b4. I mean, but I like queen c3 because it's. I think it creates the most pressure.
And perpetual stalemate does confirm that's called the crappy wing gambit. Yeah, that's what I thought. But thanks for looking it up. We didn't have time.
No, I think MVL's just completely busted. And he, like 5 moves ago, we were certain, and I'm sure we were correct as well, that he was much better. But
bishop e6, what do you do? Like queen d4? Plays queen c7. But now knight c5, rook fb1, whatnot. It's unpleasant, huh?
Yeah, the bishop on c8 is kind of stuck. It will spend the remainder of the game on c8, and eventually something bad will happen.
Bean and Arf suggesting the Krapasky. It's not bad. b51.
Yeah, I mean, they're still...
e6?
Yeah, he is taking no prisoners here. I was wondering about knight d8 though, but I guess just rook e1, and I cannot play rook e8 because of bishop takes f5. Because here we will... Although after queen e7, the knight will now counter...
Might have some squares.
Yeah, it's a surprising decision by Magnus. I don't think he was obliged to do this at all. He's still doing quite well, I'm sure, but I don't think...
Carrying some rook b7 after knight e4, maybe?
Yeah. I think we still kind of have to go knight e4, because after rook b7 we'll have queen f6. Eventually.
Can't win there. Let's calculate. Rook b7 takes, queen f6. Nope, we don't win.
No, I don't think we win there at all now. And
so maybe rook b8. What do you... Ah, no, c5 is hanging. Ugh, I can't.
There's a 7 rook c8 in the end there. This might be a decent move, actually. Yeah, and this is what
he goes.
This is what Magnus does, yeah. And the point is, as we've described, if you take on c5, but there's... Oh, okay, rook e8 is very sensible here. I think this is like a significant turnaround, because I think black is once again maybe pushing for a win. Because the knight is hanging, and if you play queen d4, bishop takes e6, just takes out the biggest trump white has.
Knight is dark and full of terrors.
Yeah.
I don't see a move.
Knight d7 maybe?
Queen d4, knight d7.
Knight d7 actually works out tactically, because...
You can't take it.
But you can maybe play... No, e3, queen takes e3, the issues remain. I think knight d7 might be quite good here. And
it's nice.
You just played f5. I thought this wasn't working.
Queen f6, or what does he want?
Maybe queen c... No, queen 7, queen f8. I guess f6 is what he wants. Yeah, but
queen g3?
I don't think this works. No, queen 7, queen f8, this cannot possibly be good for white. Queen takes c6, I guess he will play, but then e3 to...
Bishop d7 doesn't work.
Bishop d7 might just win on the spot, actually. Yeah, that's a good move.
MVL keeps beating Magnus.
Yeah. I'm now slightly sad that I hedged.
You said draw, yeah?
Yeah, I took the draw.
Might still be a draw.
No. No, I don't think
The rook is stronger in this position?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the rook is quite decent here.
Generally, extra rooks are pretty effective.
Yeah, just go e3, e2, I guess. Or queen f7. Actually, no, queen f7, queen takes b8 would be the Svidler way of approaching this position.
I like rook b6.
I've done this before, yeah. You have to go g4, g5, otherwise... Yeah, queen takes e4, rook f6, you resign, yeah. This is over, yeah.
Then VL says, rook up, please resign. Or maybe he said you lost on time, I'm not sure which it was. But it looked like he was claiming rook up. Wow, hats off to MVL. Wins this tournament and stays #1 in Blitz. Both earned the extra white, but this Magnus will be somewhat unhappy about. No, I think he lost 3 tournament Blitz games in a row to MVL as well.
Yeah, he will definitely be upset about this. And people say that 97 was indeed quite strong in the position where we're discussing it, and white was completely winning after it, apparently. But yeah, instead he...
It's a funny tactic, ends.
Yeah,
you can't take anything.
Yeah, there's so many things that are hanging. It's even funny after e3, queen e3, actually, because on e5 it's optically protected. But if you include e3, queen e3, the queen is completely unprotected on e3, but the tactic stays exactly the same.
It's nice.
So yeah, Fabi, neither of our must-win players will have won. Fabi is probably lost, and Sasha is definitely lost against Shah as well.
Where do we go?
Well, there are some live games still going on, and
this one just ended.
Yeah, Lev won against Yuangi. This game is dead, and well, we assume he is a full piece up, and
yeah, no, it's still going, but yeah, there Aronian qualifies with great piece as well.
Yeah, Wesley won, and Mamijarov also won, and Ding Anand was a draw. So we get MVL, Vishy, MVL, Magnus, Lev, Ding, and Mamijarov qualifying, and everybody else missing out, including Yuangi, who started, I think, on 2 out of 2, or maybe 2.5 out of 3, and others who kind of threatened during the various stages of the tournament.
Yeah, the MVL beats Carlsen with the black piece in the last round, scores 7.5 out of 9. Bit of a statement there, at least when it comes to Blitz. Well, obviously we've known that he's one of the top 3 Blitz players in the world for a while. But now, yeah, he's making a serious claim that he can not only compete with Magnus, but outscore him more than once.
Yeah, and apparently Johan Wilhelm Möbius is saying that there's almost a 30-point difference now between them, and I guess that must be from the source we all use for that. That's a reasonably large gap. And Ricola says Jan 3 out of 5, Peter 3 out of 5.
But different 3.
But different 3,
wow.
yeah. It's like that game, you know. What's the... Do you know if I don't know if you ever played that.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
That word game in Russian, it's called Bulls and Cows, where you think of a word, a 5-letter word. No, it's a. There's a word game like this and a number game like this. I think classical Bulls and Cows is a number game. You think of a 4-digit number with 4 different.
2650.
Exactly, and then I have to guess the number you thought of by
So I shouldn't tell you.
by suggesting numbers of my own, and you tell me how much of your chosen 4 digits are contained in mine, and if I also guess the position correctly. And I need to guess your number in as little amount of tries as possible. I'm not doing
You
this.
still don't have Netflix in Russia, yeah?
Well, not in my youth. I mean, I haven't played this game since I was maybe 10, but I definitely didn't. We definitely didn't have Netflix in 1980. Another classic Peter. You unpleasant person, you Dodgy.
All right, then, yeah, we'll go play a round of Bulls and Cows. And tomorrow, of course, the real action starts at 5 p.m. How does this work? Like, do they get a number assigned based on their finish, or they get the right to pick one?
No. I think basically number 1 picks a number, and then number 2 picks a number from the remaining numbers. And actually, I think from 6 through 10, they get assigned numbers 6 through 10.
There was some complaints, and I think Risha once complained he finished 6th or whatever, and he just got it, or 8th maybe, and he got assigned a number, and he wasn't happy about it. There was some issue at least, I think.
And people are saying this game is a board game named Mastermind, more than one.
I've played a lot of Mastermind, yeah.
So you've just said there pretending you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, that's not with numbers, it's with colors, so I thought it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, and there's now an avalanche of people saying this is Mastermind, just explained horribly and with numbers instead of colors. But okay, that's what I'm here for, to provide.
No, you're the mastermind of the show. You don't even need the board, so it's very similar to your number story. That was meant as a compliment, but I think I move it.
Yep. Anyways, we could conceivably wait until the numbers are announced and we can show you the pairings for the first round, but we don't know how
Or
long
you
this
could
will
look them
take.
up.
Yeah.
Also, we should refer, there is an official stream that might be interviewing people on norwaychess.com, done by Anna Rudolph and Judith Polgar. So if you're sick of our discussion of Russian numbers games from the 1980s, you can check that out. And they might be discussing Hungarian numbers games from the 2000s. Thank you guys so much for watching tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Tomorrow, 5
We're here
p.m.
with all the action.
Central European, yeah. So, hoping to see you tomorrow, yeah. Cheers.